And howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. I'm Joe, the Dungeon Master, and joining me are Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina, their friends and players. Thank you guys very much for joining us and following along our campaign that we get to run on Twitch for you. Before we get into the game, which is going to be very interesting, although a little on the quiet side because the music is not working right now. But a couple of announcements.
Quiet.
Well, that's fair. It's a shame because I just put so much work into the actual music, kind of elements to it, but it is what it is. So, few announcements before we get started. First, on the website, one of the things that we're trying to do every week is update the blog portion of it, which is called Lore, with something that you can use in your games from our game. So one of the things that we put up recently was a entry about the able-toed dog sleds, which all of you have been utilizing both properly and improperly for the past 2 sessions. But the full write-up with all of the dogs' names and then the actual functional rules for them and utilizing them in the north or in a snowy landscape, they're all up there. So that's www.alberonrpg.com. We have a new piece of art from Sophie Bischoff, who is Dibadoop, which is Dibdaboep. I think I missed a B in there somewhere. But Sophie Bischoff, an amazing artist. You can find her on Instagram. She did a wonderful piece about Morwen, which has some characters from her backstory, which we haven't necessarily gotten into too much because Morwen is not the most forthcoming person. But at some point, perhaps we will. So check that out. That's on our Instagram, which is also at AlberonRPG. That's kind of our name on all the social media stuff. And finally, for our announcements, I feel like I'm missing one, but I'll get back to it if I am. We're using Sirenscape, but you can't hear it. So, that is what it is. We'll see if we can get it going during the break at halftime. Oh, the final thing that I wanted to say. So I am the program director, my daytime job, for a program for adults with various barriers keeping them from being a part of their community as successfully as they want to be. I'm on call this weekend, so the phone could go off. I'm responsible for 9 different programs. If it does, we'll step away for a moment, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back. But just so you're aware, that could happen. And with that, and hello to Talon and Crixman and everybody who joins in. And Talon, thank you for the bits right off the bat. And with that, let's get back into our recap. So I would do some music, but I don't know that it's not going to play, I don't think. Finger Gang. Last we played, all of you packed aboard these sleds led by dogs, huskies, chinooks, various breeds, one of you with a miniature horse named Dentures. You took off across the north, heading back towards Mount Yishi and Squall's End. You raced across the snow, eventually stopping as night fell. Guntir, you took this opportunity to sabotage Pine's sled, decoupling the rail to cause both Pine and Morwen to fall, in an attempt to win this odd wager that you placed on reaching sort of an ineffable place first. Heinrich, as somebody who is constantly sort of vigilant and not requiring sleep, you observed Guntir doing this. You were able to sort this out and, for the most part, take care of it by just keeping an eye on Guntir. You also learned that Pine, for his part, attempted to glue Guntir to his sled over the course of the night. You were able to diffuse that particular trap or prank, depending on how you want to put it, and allowed for a relatively even start come morning. You also spent part of the night learning Elvish hooked on phonics style, which, will eventually pay off. We took off in the morning after a brilliant meal from Pine, this sort of wintry ramen sort of dish that he cooked. You came to a steep slope and loaded your dogs and Dentures, the miniature horse, aboard these long wooden sleds. and you flew down the slope, attempting to make it all the way across the thickly frozen ice beneath. Most of you did perfectly well. Actually, all of you, with no serious issue, were able to cross the ice. Guntir, you had some issues, but you managed to dodge, for the most part, the ice that loomed up towards you. But not facing any of the creatures that your guides, both Sally Abletoe and Pine, were nervous about. You made it across. Guntir, you basically created a Mario Kart style ice skid behind you as you took off at the lead, using control water or shape water from the kegs on the back to cause Morwen's sled to whip around. Morwen, you and Pine able to leap free, but the sled, pinwheeling out of control, took out or hurt two of the dogs. You actually saw one of them get a pretty bad gash. You had to stop. The rest of the group stopped and helped get everything back together. Guntir, this led you, cackling, take off, getting a lead of nearly 20 minutes. You came to the base of Mount Ishi, this towering mountain that you had scaled previously, part of a larger range, the sort of, it's called the Giant's Fist, that sticks out of this very mountainous region even further. You stopped and kind of gathered your dogs. You waited for the rest of your group, ready to show off, and I'm sure say something to Morwen. But you noticed your dogs fighting over something, wrestling within the snow. And as you came upon it and you attempted to remove this from their mouths, you found a human hand. And noticed then, across the snow in various places, here and there, scattered debris. And above you, your eyes draw up and you see this Aarakocra, darker feathers, bits of snow kind of gathered on, clearly has been here for a while. You can see in this Aarakocra similar garb to what you've seen Krodok wear, slightly more reinforced armor, but the color is black and purple. And you can see, as it notices you noticing it, the wings out. And you can see here and there up on this mountainside, these, there are 6 of these Aarakocra. They leap into the air. You can see the wings catch. And I need you to roll initiative, because you are out here all by yourself.
Ah, jeez.
Okay.
Ah, jeez.
All right, what'd you roll?
That was a 10.
Okay, that's not bad for you.
Yeah. It's pretty bad stuff.
Guntir, this is how this is going to work. All 6 of them are going first. I posted a map already in general for you, so you can take a look at that. If somebody wants to post it over to Twitch, that would be fantastic. Currently, you are standing at the base of this mountain. You can see in front of you the beginnings of a path that you would imagine might lead you up. You can see beyond, by maybe 60 feet, this built stone archway, not a natural element. You can see natural arches off and just a little bit off the map to the north. You can see elements that rise up and curve, creating a exposed portion of stone and dirt. You also see all 6 of these Aarakocra, 4 of them to the north and 2 of them off to that little hillside to the east. And they are all converging on you. Given the amount of movement that they have, you can see the 2 from the east, just the wings catch 2 huge swoops of air before they land. The other 4 are all descending. It takes them a second longer. One of them will have to dash to reach you, but the others are all going to get there in time. All of a sudden, at once, the dogs barking and braying. You are surrounded in an instant. You can hear some of the dogs beginning to yelp as these attacks already begin to take place. All right, let me pull up the stat block. So, the first one of the 2 coming from the east is going to make a melee attack, but as it comes with the wings, you can see before landing the wings really quickly, and this gust of wind comes out. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, jeez.
Oh boy. Hey, I'm
I'm not trying to fight you guys. Ooh, 19.
19. Okay. The wind across your body, and you can actually feel your feet skid in the snow, but they do not give way. You do not fall prone. However, you're still getting one spear attack against you. That is going to
hey,
be,
why are you trying? Whoa. Let's talk this out.
that is going to be a 14 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, look at that. So the wind washes over you, and as you stumble back, the spear zzz, right by your face. You come back feeling pretty good about it. There's 5 more monks that all of a sudden just close. So they are not going to attempt to use that feature, the wind rush. You can see as they take this sort of ready stance, each of them in turn getting ready to attack you. It is this very aggressive way of standing. I'll do it one at a time. I think that's the easiest way to do that. So each of them is going to get 2 attacks.
Oh, boy.
That's at base, assuming that they do not use flurry of blows.
Oh, boy.
All of them are armed with spears, similar spears to the ones that you've seen both Shae and Croddick have. So first one, oh, that's really not great. That is going to be a 16 and a 13 to hit.
One of them hits.
One of them hits. You are going to take 17 points of slashing damage. As it rakes across your shoulder, you feel the leather part. The second one is going to swing at you. That's a 14 and a 9.
Neither hits.
You see, yeah, I rolled a 2 and a 7. You across. You are already kind of sagging back, having taken that first huge slash. As you take a step back, the one behind you swings. That is going to, jeez, I'm going to switch dice after this. That is going to be a 12 to hit.
Yes,
and a 19 to hit.
Oh, that one
So
hits.
the 19, that is again maximum damage. So at least there's that.
Oh my god.
17 points of slashing damage. The first one you see go by before it turns. You see the blade in an instant arc around, zing, and then slash out across you, hitting you in the chin. That is 1, 2, 3. That is going. Those are both going to hit. That is going to be a 26 and a 22. As you begin to kind of spin forwards, that is going to be 16 points and 9 points of slashing damage.
All right.
You can feel again and again these small cuts ripping and shredding through the leather armor. I literally cannot make this up. I rolled a 2 and a 3. So that is going to be a 9 and a 10 to hit, respectively.
Oh, no.
Which I believe both miss. And the final one, you can see like all of the wings, feathers flying. It's actually hard to get in and strike at you because of the number of people here. That is going to be a 22 and a 16 to hit.
Those both hit.
Okay. And so that is going to be 16 points of slashing damage and 9 points of slashing damage. The last one, as this final cut strikes across your back, you can actually feel scraps of the leather falling away from where these intersecting slashes are like renting through. One of them is going to burn a key point for flurry of blows.
Oh, man.
That's, okay. That is a 27 to hit, which is a natural 20. And a 16 to hit.
All right.
So
those both hit.
The 16, the regular one, is going to be just 10 points of slashing damage. The natural 20 is going to be 21 points of slashing damage. So you are being eviscerated, and as you stumble forwards, the dog's all beginning to kind of whimper and back away. The first one that you saw landing right in front of you. You can see a little bit different than the others, darker feathers and coloration around the face. You see the eyes narrow as he just jabs the spear into your chest. That is all of their attacks for this turn.
Right.
I'm going to say, this is a bonus action, you watch as 2 of them on either side, to the right and to the left, seem to settle into a different stance as they take patient defense. Guntir, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm in the snow, right?
Yes, you are. The snow itself around your ankles rises up about a foot deep.
All right. Think I'm gonna feign death.
When in doubt. Okay. For feigned death. Now
I'm gonna really play it up too, like I'm really dead. Because if they keep hitting me, I'm really dead.
it's either feigned death or die. It's one or the other. Okay. You touch a willing creature. So as you touch your,
I'm just like crawling away, just like.
make a performance check, and I'm going to say make it at disadvantage.
I'm gonna. Can I use a cantrip in this moment?
You're already casting a spell.
Okay, yeah, never mind. No guidance for me.
No, that would be tough. You're being stabbed multiple times as this happens.
All right. That is an 18 performance or deception.
It's gonna. I'll call it deception. Sure.
All right, because that gives me 23.
Okay. Guntir, as you step forward, you feel the spear sink into your chest, and in a moment, almost unaware of you actually doing it, you cast feign death upon yourself. You grasp onto the shaft of the spear, you sputter blood out of your mouth and across this now graying beard, the platinum seeming to almost lose some of its luster. Gunter's eyes glaze over. Guntir, in this moment, as you begin to kind of gray out and fade, these sort of spell beginning to take effect, you're aware of movement. You kind of see off to the side these larger wings land. You see all the other Aarakocra kind of step back reflexively. And you can see in the periphery of your vision as it grays around the edges, this taller Aarakocra, one wing slightly deformed. In a way, almost like Kroddick after you fixed his, although this one much worse. You'd imagine this Aarakocra probably has some trouble flying, although much broader in the chest than those that you've seen. But you hear these sort of hawk-like noises, this language that you do not speak, and you feel yourself being hoisted up as you fade out of your vision.
Oh, jeez.
We're gonna get back to that in a second, however. And I'm gonna message you something too, also. Morwen, Heinrich, Shae, you are all sort of just taking your time on these sleds. You have a very, very pleasant ride. It is it's in the afternoon, you know that. The sun not quite beginning to set, but it is getting to the point where Shae, you being from the area, would know around 3 o'clock. The dogs are now just briskly traveling. You can see the snow go by, the sound of the sleds going through. Shae, make a perception check, because you're already looking out.
Like, incredibly anxiously.
Yusumiwa, thank you.
30.
Okay. There is this brief moment where over top you can see in that bank of clouds that kind of moves, you would see the figure that you know. And there's no doubt just in the way that it seems to not fly as much as it seems to glide and coast down. It is the figure of Crick. The figure that you see very much as a father, but that the rest of the Zinyi see as perhaps one of the greatest warriors to have ever lived. You see him falling and then disappearing somewhere near the base of Mount Yishi in front of you. There are still trees and gentle slopes of mountains and hills that are in your way, but you see him disappear.
Who is closest to me? Which sled?
Sally's.
Where's Heinrich?
So currently it is your sled to the right and kind of back. Sally's is maybe 20 feet in front of you. And like a little off to the left. Heinrich is behind by maybe like 50 feet. And then you have Pine, who is now lagging fairly significantly behind. Morwen, you feel like shame radiating off of him. After he was dressed down by Sally, he is not having the best day.
Me neither. I'm grumpy as hell on
Fair enough.
his sled.
I'm going to look over to Heinrich and
then just doink. So 50-foot line open.
Perfect.
So
I need to go. Catch up as quick as you can. Get Morwen to take the sled.
okay. See you where?
The base of the mountain. As quick as you can.
Okay. Alright. And I'll start slowing our dogs down to like meet up with her sled, basically.
Okay, so you begin to kind of slow and...
Assuming that she's getting off of hers, right? That's what you
Yes.
said? Okay, yeah.
And so, Shae, are you just leaping off and leaving the sled to
Slow
kind of do what it's
down
gonna
enough
do?
so like get it so that it's slowing down, but then
Oh.
leaping off and running.
Make an animal handling check, Shae.
And I'll try to catch up to it and get Morwen to do the highway
Ooh.
car to car.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is the Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah. The race is back on.
21.
Huh?
21.
No problem. You pull on the reins. There's some kind of confused barking. You see one of the dogs look back, but they slow. And Heinrich, without a problem, your dog sled catches up.
Before it's even stopped,
Marwen,
just
you're gonna
off
need
dead
to
sprint.
So you see Shae leap, the dog sled take off, and Shae settles, but before her feet even hit the ground, already moving.
I'm gonna shout, "That's cheating!"
I feel like Morwen, she saw
Gone.
something very dangerous up ahead. She's going to check it out. Take her sled. Can you make the jump? And I'll just like try to pull it next to it.
I'm gonna pretend like he didn't even just ask me that. Of course I can make that jump. Okay, I'm gonna try to make that jump.
Okay, go ahead. Make an acrobatics check. The dog sled is just kind of going, and it's not
Make the jump.
terribly
It's a
fast
28.
either. Sure.
I'm gonna do it still like just as grumpy. Like I'm just like, but I stand and
Just do like walk our arms across like a.
So Heinrich, you're like going, the sled moving as you catch up, and Shae falls back. Morwen just kind of glares at you and just takes a step off and is just back on the sled. No problem. You guys now have transferred ownership of this. Morwen, I have to remember what your animal handling check was previously. I will look that up. I have it written
I
down.
don't think I've made one either.
Okay, so
Oh,
go
no,
ahead and make
I
it.
did it then.
You,
No, go
it was
ahead.
you did. It was 12. Earlier when Sally said that she was going to kind of catch you up to speed on those things. So no problem. You guys take off, Shae, towards the mountain. Given your pace, are you guys doing anything as you are traveling?
I'm gonna think better of informing Morwen of Guntir's sabotage at this moment, since Shae just took off in a rush because something's dangerous. So I actually am not doing anything. I had a big plan, but now I'm worried about Guntir. So my mind has switched gears.
Okay, so all of a sudden, though the dogs are barking here and there, kind of playfully, there is this sort of, now that they're all back together and you guys aren't traveling single file, the dogs are kind of just playfully yipping at each other back and forth. And it is a pretty, aside from the riders, a pretty jovial atmosphere. You guys take a little bit of time passing through the snow, small bits of wood, long frozen over, passing on the right and the left. Sally, for her part, leads you through a path that is very clear and very quick. You are at a part in the north that is quite cold, and here the snow, not soft fallen, so you can feel the skids kind of slide left and right. 10 minutes pass. You come to a portion where now you can actually see these skids pulling through the snow. You see signs of Guntir's passing. Shae, you are tearing through. You are well ahead of this. You also would see here and there evidence of Shae moving. Not footprints necessarily, but you'll see portions where clearly branches are bent down, the snow fallen from them. But Shae, you're moving pretty quick. Shae, it takes you about 15 minutes. The snow doesn't slow your progress necessarily, but being very mindful to not leave as much of a trail as you can. You get there in about 15 minutes. You, on foot, beat the dog sleds by a solid 10. as you approach, as you get through the frozen parts of the snow, you see the mountain, you see the range rising. You've been across this part of the north in many routes and in many ways, and so it feels very familiar, but instantly there is a shift. There is something very different. Given your passive perception, the wind is a little bit stronger than it should be. You look up, the clouds not moving so much with the wind, but there is this sort of more than a breeze. It feels as if it's coming off the mountain itself. You also notice, looking up, the one thing that you should be able to see from Squall's End at this range is the very, very top of the Raven Tower, and you do not see it. You begin to look, and here and there you see imprints in the snow, places where things have fallen through, and they're strange. They don't make a ton of sense at first. You pull here a piece of shingle, perhaps, here a piece of pottery, and then the first time as you bend down and you look as you pass, you see a finger, ironically enough. You see
Keep it.
like a burnt and scorched section of a hat, although you see it clearly, cleanly bisected apart. You begin to slow your progress, and you can see now there are feathers in the snow, and the snow is disturbed. You see a good amount of blood. You don't see any dogs, but you do see their tracks. You see, turned over on its side, Gunter's dog sled, kind of across, at an angle sort of into the snow. It looks like it's not broken, but has just been turned. You see in the middle and kind of beyond that, where there's like a hill up on the right, and the beginnings of the path that you know will lead to a very long ascent, probably about a day and a half to get to Squall's End. In the middle of the path, you can see Gunter, his body suspended, a spear through him. You would recognize it as a spear from Gamble's workshop, one of these magnetic sort of things, although the housing you don't see. Gunter, go ahead and make another death saving throw.
14.
Okay. You see on this spear, Gunter kind of have slid maybe 2 feet down, so he's about perfectly in the middle of it. You see the eye is kind of open. To you, unclear if he's dead or not. Really, really hard to tell because Gunter feigns death so frequently.
Right.
But there is a spear through him. You can see dozens of Aarakocra feathers just scattering the area. And that is all you see.
In looking around, do I see anybody else? Does the scene appear safe?
Make a perception check. Okay, first aid, sure.
17.
17. Your eyes dart across the snowy mountainside, and though you do see several places where the snow has been disturbed, you do not see anything else watching.
I guess I'm gonna walk over to Gunter and help him not be impaled anymore.
Okay, how do you do that?
Why? It's just
the
Tuesday.
spear is down into the ground, the shaft is sticking out through his back.
I hate Tuesdays.
Is he suspended up or is he on the ground?
He's like 2 feet down, so he's kind of right in the middle. The tips of his toes are like touching the ground.
It's like that scene in that Madonna music video, except instead of the water bucket, it's just blood and a spear.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Very
sorry, buddy, and just
tasteful.
kind of like help ease him down to the ground.
Okay. Shae, make a medicine check.
This is the weirdest medicine check I've ever seen.
I mean, gotta get it out somehow. That's
It's like surprisingly dry.
23.
23. Gunter, what is your total health at right now?
My total health when I feigned death was 16.
Okay. You don't feel anything. You're dead. But Shae, you pull Guntir down, and as you do, there are like little bits of skin and flesh that still cling to the spear.
Like doing my best to do it so that it's not hurting him further.
Try to keep as much
And
of
you
it
do,
in as
you do
you
a pretty
can.
good job. But at the very end, you still have to remove a spear from a body, and so as you kind of push down and pull, there is a little bit of a, and then bits of viscera that streak into the sky, settle into the snow. Gunter, you take one additional point of damage.
Using some of his materials to help, like, wrap him up and hold him there until Heinrich can get there, because that's all I can do.
Okay. Easy enough, and actually, Gunter is stabilized. He did make 3 death saving throws successfully. So, you wrap him up and kind of put pressure on it. His body is rapidly getting colder, but again, hard to tell what that means. You begin to hear the distant sounds of barking, and before too long, Heinrich, Morwen, you arrive with the rest of the dogs, Sally, Pine. You see Gunter kind of down, Shae attending to him. There's a dramatic amount of blood just in a patch, just a little bit off, maybe 5 feet away from where Gunter and Shae are. Gunter, for his part, looks pretty rough.
Heinrich.
No.
Never racing Shae.
Yeah, pull it up and get off the sled and... Oh, what did he get himself into this time?
Not sure. It was a much more gruesome sight when I got here.
I'm gonna go over to and just kind of to his eyes, like.
You pull his eyes open and tap on them. They're a little tacky.
No, not on the eyeball, like his face. Like what's up with you?
Okay.
It's
You
like
open his eye, you
press it
pull it
in.
open, tap him a couple times. He's waxy and a little stiff to the touch.
Like a power button, just.
How many times do I have to bail you out? Alright, and I'll just kind of like drop the healing on him, just like, eh.
Okay.
He's
You
in healing.
drop the healing, sure. And as you hold your hand out, the celestial glyphs spin into life and seem to float across Gunter's body, seeping into the wounds. You see the wounds heal curiously, although Gunter does not seem to recover. Just seems dead, but healed.
Okay. You healed for 7
And I would say, given what you know about Gunter, you put 2 and 2 together, and if you had not known before, you now have confirmation. This is feigned death.
Yeah. So I heal him for 17. And then I just
Alright.
kind of start investigating the area.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Right. Kids just running around the street. 10.
Okay.
I'm half-heartedly doing this. I'm just kind of like bummed that Gunter's doing this again to us.
You look around. You find like little bits of fragments of debris and some what looks like maybe a brick from above broken. Not much.
Huh. I hold up the brick to Shae. Does this look familiar? Is this from like all the way?
Yes,
Is that bad? This doesn't feel good.
it's likely not.
Damn it.
I want to go back to the finger.
Okay. You tread back. It is small.
Is it just a finger? If I dig, is there a body attached to it?
You could find out.
I'm gonna find
do
out.
that?
That's why I'm asking.
You bend down and look at the finger. You can actually see an element of this jagged bone protruding, so it's just the finger.
Okay, then I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
To pick
I
that
would
up.
like to
No.
grab some of the red snow and make a tiny little snow chronic bit.
Does anyone see Morwen trying to pick up the red snow?
But I'm standing like next to Gunter, like I'm like making sure my buddy's okay, but I'm a little bored because like he does this all the time. So
For
I'm
anybody
just trying
watching,
to-
and it's not like hidden. You see Morwen kind of take some of this red snow, and at first it's like, okay, Morwen's like kind of, cleaning up this area. Maybe like for you, Heinrich, you're like, okay, leave no trace, great, whatever. All of a sudden, instead of moving this blood-stained, gore-soaked snow, Morwen begins to shape and pack it into. You're like, it's just a ball at first, and you begin to kind of think, what is it? And another ball, and then you realize it's a snowman, and then you see some sticks go in. It's a snow.
Morwen, what are you doing? That's disgusting.
We kill people all the time.
You're
This is
playing
gross
with
to
the
you?
blood now?
Ah, what it? Come
Ugh,
on, it's
oh my
here.
God.
Lighten up.
Is there anywhere like I could just walk off to by myself now?
Yeah, you could walk over to the horrified-looking Sally Ableto,
Yeah.
You're the one
and
who made like the butt blaster or whatever. So like, don't even come at me.
That was in the way. Yeah, this is an unnecessary creative endeavor. I was trying to get it out of our
Whatever,
way.
it's called art. Keep going.
Sally, are you okay? This is something he does often, I guess.
you can see she's like sitting there. She's holding on to two lines of dogs. She's kind of like pulling them off the sled and getting them fed. She seems to be looking around, but she kind of snaps back to you. Well, this is just a little bit more than we signed on for. I'm very sorry about your friend.
Yeah, he's okay. He does this often.
She turns and kind of looks. You can see on the ground, like snow packed into him, little tiny blood hawk looking thing.
No, he got impaled on a giant ice spike like 3 days ago. It's fine. This happens all the time.
You can see her and Pine like exchange a glance. Pine just shakes his head no, and she nods and says, "Okay, well, have you seen the other dogs around here and our sled?"
Well, you can see the sled kind of took a tumble or
Oh
something.
dear! And she just takes off and heads off towards the sled to investigate it. You see she pulls it over thump, into the snow. She calls Pine over. Pine! And Pine comes through. And she seems to be pointing, and you can see there are like large, not a field, but you can see tracks, dog tracks leading off into the north. Pine begins to kind of walk, not intending to go far, clearly, but just a couple feet off to see in what direction these traverse. What are the rest of you guys doing? Guntir, you're dead.
I'm gonna send Nod off after the dogs to find them.
Okay. So seeing Pine, even as you think it, Nod seems to stir from your shoulder and takes off into the air. I'm going to make a perception check with Nod.
Good lord. 2 4s in a row, so 8.
Trust me, I totally feel
Yep,
that.
it's that kind of day.
We used all our 20s last session.
Yeah, Jesus, that was insane. A natural 20 to provoke an opportunity attack. That was also a natural 20. That was pretty cool.
So 8.
So you
I'll give it
look, you can feel Nod kind of soaring through the breeze. It is a relatively clear day, with the sun beginning to set, now getting close to about 5 o'clock. Not setting, but beginning to descend in the sky. You feel a little bit of exhilaration in Nod, and you take some time to really just enjoy the feeling. You don't see a ton. You see snowy landscape that you're familiar with. To the southwest, as you take a large pass, you can see bits of bleached stacked stone that would indicate to you the boundaries of what you have traversed and know to be the Bone Meadow. You see as Nod kind of goes off way to the east. What looks like figures moving, although wrapped in furs, not soldiers or anything like that. From what you've seen, they look relatively similar to the way that folks dressed in Smuggler's Dug back when you were there. You also see, as Nod goes higher, being so close to the mountain, you can see elements of the mountain itself. You get up and you come to a part where clouds begin to sort of gather. You could have Nod ascend through the cloud cover, and you would be able to see, you would imagine, Squall's End.
Not yet. I'll
Okay.
pull her back.
Okay. You can see the owl for those of you watching, and as the owl turns and banks to begin to descend, as the setting sun catches the feathers, there is this glint of emerald light. But Nod returns to you. At this point, Gunter, you have about 15 minutes, and then you're gonna wake up.
I'm using Guntir as a bench.
Can I check and see if Gunter has all of the things that he's supposed to have on him?
Sure. Shae, as you're like looking around, you look, you see the finger, you don't see anything attached to it, you turn, you walk back, you think, does Gunter have everything? You turn and you look, you see Gunter sort of like rigid on the ground, the elbow kind of in one angle, the legs bent and kind of askew. One looks like almost broken. And then Morwen just sitting atop him. You see just behind that this icy red snowman that one of the wings is kind of slowly sinking down. But Gunter is a bunch.
I'm like the Omen child right now.
Come play with me, Shae.
I'm gonna go through your pockets. That's what I'm gonna do. Actually, I want to make sure he has all of his
Make an investigation check.
bags
It's
and
like
things.
a sweepstake. Come through all the pockets. You
Ooh.
have 15 minutes in the
That's
store.
15.
Oh yeah, it's like when you run through the store with the shopping cart.
Yeah, you're just like going through all the pockets for everything.
You start by going through the outside of Gunter's pockets, on the robes, on the bits of cowl. You find like little weird sewn-in pockets and things. Most of them empty. You find here and there a couple of coins. You find a few daggers just in weird sort of pockets, and like one tucked in his boot, and they're just everywhere.
Since I'm sitting on him and can see her doing it, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just sitting there like bored, like waiting
Yeah.
to see like what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'd be careful. He's got some weird stuff.
Yeah, I
Like
don't.
I'm not stopping her. I'm just giving her a warning.
I don't want any of his things. I just want to make sure he has it all still.
You would imagine, I mean, you take some time to go through, you don't find a bag of holding, and you know Gunter had that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find Gunter's bag, so the majority of his belongings are certainly gone. There's no weapons with Gunter.
Great. It's just got way worse.
Yes, it did.
Fucking hell.
I'll call
At
Heinrich
least they
over.
have the fucking diamond.
That's not the important thing at all.
It is to Morwen.
Gunter,
Yeah, I'm obviously coming over. I'm like, well,
Heinrich, Gunter's bags are gone.
they took the staff, didn't they?
Yep.
Or what we think is the staff.
Yes, they have it now.
Fucking hell, I'm gonna like kick Snow and accidentally kick it on Morwen. Like no important, like no aim, just
little
like,
bits of snow
angry.
cling to the whiskers and slowly drip and melt off.
Yeah. Sorry, Morwen. Just. Oh fuck. So this wasn't just a regular crash then. What happened?
Gunter, you wake up to snow right in your faces. Kind of kicks it right into you. You come to Morwen's sitting on top of you, and Shae's hand is kind of pulling away from your pocket.
I'll hop off since he's awake now.
Heinrich, from like 30 feet off, near the rest of the dogs, with all the barking and kind of playful sounds, you just hear, "Oh my, he is alive."
Yeah, I told you.
Yes.
You won, Gunter.
I'm feeling my pockets. What'd they take?
Sally.
You feel, and so for you, Gunter, who are a little bit more intimately familiar with your items, for mechanical purposes, your inventory is essentially empty, with the exception of any cash that you have. So coins, your coins are all still there; they were not taken.
Oh. Alright.
If you have any loose gemstones, those were not taken either.
Oh.
Anything else, weapons, anything that was not armor on your body, is no longer in your inventory. The Gam Cube is gone.
Ah. They took everything.
Also, Shae, worth noting, as you go through Gunter's belongings before he wakes up, There are a few things that you do notice. What was your investigation check?
15.
That's about it.
Okay.
Oh, what happened?
You tell us, buddy.
Oh!
Stand up at that point and walk over to Sally.
Okay. You can see Sally, who's watching. She kind of sees you approach. Oh, hi, Shae.
Hi, Sally. I hate to bring this on you, but it's not safe. You and Pine should make your way off.
I think we've gathered that much, yes. It's weird here. I've lived here for most of my life. Almost 60 years now at this point. And it's never felt like this. She kind of looks up, and you can see even these frozen fir trees off maybe 30 feet away. You hear the sound of the frozen wood creak and shift in the wind ever so slightly. These are trees that have been frozen and silent and still for a very long time, but you feel this wind. And you see Sally Abletoe, this halfling, the parka actually now down. You can see her face for the first time really fully, real chubby cheeks. You can see probably had like black hair, although parts of it not balding necessarily, but it's certainly thinning. But she looks up, and you follow her gaze past the cloud cover and to where you know Squall's end to be. I know you're from there. I don't think it's us that you should be worried about.
I agree. However, I do not want to put more people who don't need to be at risk.
Well, before too long, Pine and I will head back to Nanook, so we just need a little bit of time to track down the rest of the dogs. And you can see Pine's like wandered off following the tracks. And here and there now, far off in the north, you hear the excited sound of like a dog that has been found and, comes running and bounding through the snow over to Pine. He's kind of recovering this Guntir's team one by one.
We'll wait until you have your team together, but we should move as quick as possible.
Well, make a persuasion check.
Haha. 18.
Very well. As soon as Pine's done, we'll get ready. It's going to be dark before too long, but there's a place nearby that we could stay.
Anywhere away from here.
If you say so. Zinni tend to know what's going on in the north. You haven't been steered wrong by them yet. I'll go help Pine. And she heads off to help.
I'll make my way
Meanwhile,
back out to the others.
Okay. You guys, it's beginning to kind of become a time where the shadows get a little bit longer. The level of light is sinking down, probably about 6:30 at night.
We gotta get our stuff back.
What? Took your stuff. Like, what's going on?
It was like 6 of those Niners. The 9 path.
Shae's
They
path?
took all my stuff. Oh, except for the gold and stuff. But they took the GameCube and they took the bag with the animals. And they took that other one with that stick. The twisted one.
Oh, that doesn't sound like good news.
No.
Nah,
And
you're bumming me out.
I have a hole in my stomach.
I don't know, you're bumming me out.
You see Guntir takes his hands away, and despite the fact that Heinrich's healing energy had sort of gotten to that point, it is still an angry, like red, freshly healed, but healed is a strong word, Guntir. If you like stretch too much, you imagine this will rip. It's a bad one.
I guess in this moment, I'm gonna channel divinity into giving myself a bunch of heals.
Okay. How much heals are you giving yourself?
All 50.
Okay. Guntir, you look at this wound, you can see as you like you pull back to observe it, the skin stretching, part of it kind of open, and you see the blood kind of come out. In a moment of
I try to like push it back.
yeah, you begin to kind of push it back. Suddenly, Shae, you see above in the cloud cover a slight swirl, as if some massive being moved its hand in a single gesture, and you all hear rolling thunder. And Guntir, you suddenly feel from within this wound, you see blood spurt out as the tissue itself grows and knits together from within.
I dance in it. No, I don't.
Well, that feels a little better.
A lot better.
A little better. We gotta go after them. Oh no! Where are the dogs?
I'm gonna start looking around for Beady Petey.
You definitely don't see BDPD.
Wouldn't worry
Oh
about
man,
the dogs.
do I
Pine
see
and Sally.
any of the dogs?
Off maybe like 70, 80 feet away, you can see one or two of them, and then behind them, just the whole mess of them kind of milling about, and some of them sleeping, some of them kind of playing, but none from your team.
Oh no.
I'm gonna. Do I see new holes where bodies have been dropped besides mine? And I'm looking for dog holes.
Make an investigation check for those canine pits.
Jumanji. Ooh. Investigation, I believe that's an 18.
You tell me.
Yeah, 18.
You begin to look through the snow. You find bits of debris, bits of cut up wood and things like that. You don't find any dog necessarily. You begin to find tracks here and there, and you follow them with your eyes, and you follow them a couple 100 feet away, just on the periphery of your vision. You see in the shadows that are being cast from the sun dropping, you see Pine and a couple of dogs now being led through, and you would imagine those are your dogs.
They're all okay?
You see 4 of them out of 8, so.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna start looking for the other dogs, I guess.
Okay, Shae, you watch as Guntir kind of treks off in that direction. Guntir, make an investigation check.
I'm gonna be like calling their names. I don't actually remember most of them, so I'm gonna make some new ones up for them.
Beady Petey! Franklin!
I like that.
Austin Dog!
Do you want to make an intelligence check to try to remember the names of the dogs, or?
Yeah, I'll do that. Too.
Sure, make an intelligence check. This is important stuff.
That is this is the 15. Yeah, 15 plus intelligence, just flat intelligence.
What did I say? I said this is going to be flat intelligence.
That is a 17.
Yeah, you remember all of them. Salmon, Bigsby, Beady
Salmon,
Petey,
Bigsby! Beady
Hellcrow,
Petey!
and T-Bone. That would be all of them. So actually, you see there's only one of them missing at the moment.
Oh.
And the only one missing is Beady Petey.
Beady Petey! Beady! Beady Petey, where are you?
After it takes you and Sally and Pine about another hour. So it over the course of the sun setting, you do find Beady Petey, who, true to form, not having good bowel experiences. The food that you had fed him previously definitely not sitting well. And so you
fed him that.
You find Beady Petey. You come around a corner. He's sitting. You can see the ears down. There's like a brown streak behind him. There's a slight like low whine. You can see like this like shamed look. He drags his butt across the snow and kind of waddles to you.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. Let's
Well,
get
you
you
were the right
back.
person to find him in that situation?
After a little bit, Guntir, Sally, and Pine return to the rest of you,
Yeah, I've been
leading
there.
all of the dogs you have in campaign, canonically. You guys all come together. It is probably about 7 o'clock at night. Sally lights a torch, and through the light of this, you can see her face. The light flickering through the wrinkled halfling features. She looks at all of you. Well, Pine and I have gotten the dogs together, and Shae said that we should probably go. It is getting a little bit more dangerous. Guntir, I'm glad that you're okay.
Yeah,
You looked kind of dead.
yeah, I feel kind of dead. Like,
Yeah.
all the time, but it never happens.
Oh my. Well,
Yeah, it's a
God.
blessing and a curse, really.
you might want to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah,
But-
I kind of know who I have to talk to, but don't. It's a whole to do.
Okay, well,
Thanks for your concern, and thank you for your dogs. They're lovely, and I'm glad that they're all okay.
me too. They take quite a bit of training, and the next...
All right, off you go now.
Well, oh, okay. Heinrich, Morwen, Shae, do you require anything before we go?
You've
Oh,
done
I'm gonna
more than enough for us, Sally.
while she's like talking to Shae and Heinrich. I'm gonna like go over to Pine, and I'm gonna slip him. How much gold do I have? I still have all my gold, right?
You would have all of your gold, silver, and copper.
All right, I'll slip him 5 gold.
Okay.
But,
You
like,
put the pieces in his hand.
I'll be like,
Keep quiet about that race.
Well,
I'm the winner, though.
So are you just paying me to tell you that you're the winner? Because Sally knows about the race.
What? Give that back.
You take the gold out of his hand. Oh,
I'm gonna be like,
No, here. Give it to the dogs, though.
are you
Beat it.
sure?
Some better fiber.
Well, I maybe we could change their diet. But
Yeah.
now I'm confused about whether I should take this or not. Do I really get to keep it?
Yeah, just get out of here, kid. Go.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
And he takes the gold and heads back to Sally. You can see he stows it away carefully. Sally and Pine gather the dogs. They say their goodbyes and they depart into the darkness. You can see the torch that Sally has sort of marking their passage. You watch as it passes through trees before finally twisting out of a mountain, out of sight. And you are all left in the dark. A patch of blood, a little blood snowman. It's probably about 7. The mountain looms over you. What do you want to do?
I think we should begin our trek up and find a safe place to hole away if we can.
Who were those people?
You tell me,
Those
Guntir, what did they look
nine
like?
did I get a good look at any of them besides like?
Make an intelligence check. Make it a disadvantage. There's a lot going on.
Like, did I register this? How I know out of Crick, but like I wouldn't know that.
What'd you roll?
Ooh, natural. Oh no.
Disadvantage.
Still a 14. Is that flat intelligence again?
Flat intelligence, yeah.
16.
Okay. Guntir begins to describe what happened, and you instantly, Shae, recognize that was Crick, the dangerous Aarakocra warrior. You also recognize the one that Guntir described with sort of the inky-colored feathers around the back of the head. That matches the description of Kaltros, who is one of the Way of the Windspear monks, who is part of the guard. And he also would mention the slight limp in one that would indicate Pri, who is a Path of the Harming Hand, or a practitioner, one of the very few known practitioners of the Path of the Harming Hand. But aside from that, the other ones don't necessarily bring any clear memories of who they might be to you.
I knew that there were 6 plus crick, though, right?
Correct.
So I would also say,
And there were 7 of them total. I was gonna say more, but then it seems serious enough. I gotta start. They took my stuff.
Wait, Guntir,
Yes.
can't you kind of like track stuff? Like, can you tell where?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm great at tracking stuff. You know.
Can you see if it's maybe nearby? Is it
Uh,
secret? I don't know.
I mean, I could, but I'm pretty tired right now. I probably need to
They're long gone by
take a
now.
nap first or something.
How do you know they're not right above us? Or
Oh,
rather,
actually,
turned
you know, I
to
could.
giant steps.
Morwen, make a perception check.
you know what? I'm gonna actually
16.
locate object on my objects, I guess.
Okay, what I think you need to specify an
Yeah,
object.
so I
With the
guess
16 Mormon, you look up, you see the clouds just dim in the darkness overhead. You don't see stars, you don't see a moon, but neither do you see any kind of winged creatures.
Specifically, I think I would want the bag of holding
Okay.
with the stick,
Sure.
the staff of
Stick.
twisted fates,
The reliquary.
but or the piece of it, yeah.
What is the range on detect object or find object?
I think it's 1,000. Let me just double check though. I think it might. I'm getting it confused with another one.
Locate object? Or you're doing locate object, you're getting confused with detect magic?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see.
I think that's 30 feet for detect magic. Locate
Yeah,
object, if I remember correctly, is 200 feet, I thought.
Locate object
It
is
is-
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, okay. Guntir, as you
Yeah.
cast this spell, you can feel the energy part, and you looking for a blip. You see none.
They're gone. They've got
You
my
say,
stuff
right-
and they're gone.
As Shae says, they're already gone.
They're
The
already
words
gone.
still dying in the air. You repeat them, essentially.
Things like that, they would have taken straight back. They won't be here.
Where?
To Highland. To the giant step.
What?
I mean, does that change which direction we're going, or are we still going to?
Well, no,
Well, where'd they
considering
go?
the Squall's end, we should probably head up there at least, and then we'll be on the mountain.
There's some bodies here too that they were here when I got here. I didn't do it,
No,
Sure.
I don't expect that you did.
but there are probably more. Shae.
Probably. I know.
Shall we at least keep moving now that we have more things to take care of added to the list?
I mean, we're like out in the open a little right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's at least get somewhere that's a little more comfort.
I would suggest we begin climbing the mountain and tuck ourselves into some more hidden spot, a little higher up. Better vantage point.
If we can find a spot, yeah, let's try it out.
Did they take my cold weather ring off of my finger?
They would have, yes. You don't have a cold weather ring. So you are. And do you have cold weather gear on?
I probably wouldn't have if I had.
So
my
go ahead and make a
cold weather
Constitution
ring on.
saving throw for me, please, because it is frigidly cold.
Oh,
Oh, that isn't a D20.
I have one pair of extra winter clothes that I'll present.
Only one pair. I think actually
Um,
Guntir has like 6 sets, or he did.
I
Not
did.
anymore.
That is a con save. That's a 19.
19. Okay. You can feel the cold sinking into your skin. You feel first the knuckles beginning to get sore as the cold takes over. You feel your nose begin to get cold, your ears almost frosting over. It's quite cold.
It's
No.
cold.
Morwen, are you giving him a set of cold weather clothing? Okay.
See, this is why we each take a couple. And we always
gotta
have them.
have a spare.
Ah.
It's good having a
That's the
spare.
lesson
Right.
to be learned here.
Yeah. And the only one to be learned.
Only one. No other lessons.
I need one.
Let's get moving.
All right.
You begin your ascent. Shae, you taking the lead, I would assume.
Yeah.
You begin to move over a path that is fairly familiar, and here and there you can see signs of passage. Hard to tell without really taking some time to look, but probably no longer than like a day or two old. But you begin to progress. You can see the frozen mountain on your left beginning to wind up and wrap around. You follow the broken stone paths here and there. For those of you who have not climbed this before, you can see poking out of the dirt bricks, these gray stones that here and there mark an old road that at one point was probably very clear and prominent, but now basically just reclaimed by the stone and the snow. But you walk. How far are you guys trying to go? Shae, you would know it is roughly, well, for this group, roughly a day's travel up.
Just high enough up so that we're not in the immediate vicinity of that, and like looking for some place to kind of tuck off and not be quite so obvious if possible.
Okay, like built into the actual side of the mountain itself, there are a number of spots that are kind of carved into the stone, looking almost like, like your beginner Minecraft setup, specifically designed to shelter people who are traveling that path should the blizzard, like the real severe blizzards, come in.
Yeah.
So one pretty close by. You guys walk for about half an hour, making your way up the mountain before Shae points out, almost not purposefully disguised, but in the way the snow drift piles up, tucked into the mountain itself, a little crevice that leads to what is essentially a 30-foot long cleared out space in the mountain itself. You can see above on the roof, there's a wooden beam that has been placed, and there are these 3 metal rings that hang down. Shae, you know that lanterns could be suspended, clothing could be hung up. They're there for a variety of purposes.
Well, how far is the next one? Shouldn't we make a little more progress?
How far is the next one?
About 2 hours. You could certainly do it. It would put you right... You guys would need to make 1 round of exhaustion checks, but you could certainly do it.
It puts us closer. I'm not worried as long as we can just rest there when we get there.
Works for me, as long as we're all on board.
Yeah.
So you take this moment, you talk, and you head right back out into the dark. And as you step out, the first few flakes of snow begin to fall.
I do want to look around and make sure that we're alone.
Make a perception check.
24.
You walk. Shae, you hyper vigilant and aware of your surroundings. You keep your eyes to the dark skies. For you, hard to see. You don't see any flying figures. You don't see any disturbances in the clouds. The 24, as you're climbing off to the left, you see a tiny spot of what looks like maybe dark red or pink. And as you focus in on it for just a second, stopping, you can hear the crunch, crunch, crunch. For the rest of the group still moving forwards, you see one of the ears kind of rise up. It's like a snow hare. And it kind of stares at you. There's this moment of eye contact before it lops off. But you don't see anything dangerous.
Okay.
You guys walk for 2 hours. You need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw.
16.
Also 16.
All right.
18.
All of you trek through. The snow begins to fall after the first hour a little bit more earnestly. It gets to a point where you need to constantly kind of clear it from your face. Guntir, now that you're in warm weather gear, not too troublesome for you, more when you've been bundled up in your snowsuit the whole time. So you're just kind of, waddling through.
Took an 8-hour nap pretty recently.
Sure. But you make your way through the snow, through the dark, until you find the next of these little alcoves. And Shae, you kind of tuck in. But no problem. It is close to 10 o'clock at night. The wind outside, stronger than you are used to it being. You can actually hear as it howls past the doorway to the alcove. It makes this kind of sound almost constantly. here and there bits of snow kind of come in, and there is like a small drift forming.
Should we keep moving?
No, Guntir, let's rest here.
Alright. I mean, they're probably not moving in this either.
Not likely.
I'll start up a fire in the back.
Okay. Kind of hold your hand out. There's this, and this bonfire roars to life.
Alright, I'm gonna go get comfortably close to it.
You get close to it. There is the crackle of this sort of magic flame leaping off, and the heat is real enough. It emanates off, penetrates the frozen parts of the furs. The water begins to melt down from the snow that's accumulated, and you feel warmth coming back to your body. Is there anything that you would like to do before resting? Heinrich, I know you're staying up for the guard. And if you guys have anything you want to do before going to sleep?
Shae, I want to talk with you.
Yes, Guntir.
Let's go over to the other corner of this small cave.
I'll follow.
Wait, how big is this cave?
It's about 30 feet long, and probably at widest 20 feet. It's not 100% square, but it's like a rough square. Rough rectangle, sorry.
It's probably pretty echoey, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend I'm sleeping, but eavesdrop the shit out of that conversation. But then when
Okay.
it's done, actually go to bed.
Make a deception check.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So as Morwen, uncharacteristically, but she must have been really tired, just kind of passes out by the fire. Heinrich kind of tending to things. Guntir, you and Shae walk 10 feet off to the other end of this cave.
Just standing against the wall.
Shae,
Morwen, you hear all this.
Guntir.
I want you to be prepared for when we get there. For what we might find. They killed me.
Yes, Guntir.
I didn't even get in a word edgewise. It was like, what you do, but 6 times that.
Yes, Guntir.
They're not messing around.
No, and I've been saying that since we got here.
Well, I'm saying, be prepared for what we might find.
I am acutely aware of what we're likely to find.
Alright. Well, for what it's worth, I'm here for you. I'm gonna, pat her on the shoulder.
And shrivelly old fingers kind of touch you. It's like very Crypt Keeper-like.
Thank you, Guntir.
Gamble was a good guy for me, too, so I'm just as worried as you are. Well, not really, because I know you go back.
I mean, it is...
Not to say that anything bad has happened to Gamble, necessarily. But,
We won't know anything till we get there.
right. Well, yeah. As long as you're ready.
I'm ready.
And Gunter, your eye is continuously drawn down to Shae's hands, just remembering that dismembered one that you saw in the snow. But Morwen, you hear all that. Heinrich, if you're listening, you hear all that as well. But
Can't not listen.
yeah, is there anything else that you guys would like to do before Heinrich phase of the evening?
I'm gonna take one last look around before settling down to a very not easy sleep.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Okay, go ahead and make a perception check. You step to the edge of this alcove. You peer out into the howling snow and wind and the dark.
24.
24 again. You look out. You can see immediately the bonfire in this alcove behind you cast shadows out and onto the mountain path in front. You see the edges of little bricks. You see piled up bits of snow that are accumulating in divots, the footprints that your group left quickly being covered. You don't see anything dangerous.
Okay. Uneasy sleep.
You begin to go. You find a place to sleep. We'll get back to the sleeping part in a second. Guntir,
wait.
you find sleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fluff up Morwen as a pillow.
Oh.
And,
Okay.
Okay, good.
So
'cause I
Morwen,
was
you-
gonna
it's
say
that-
I'm awake until I hear Guntir settle down, and I was gonna say if it wasn't near me, I was just gonna like creep over. But-
no, I come
We're
over and I
good.
like smush your head and your tail in. I'm like,
Just shifting in the dirt. But yeah, no problem.
Fine.
Heinrich, what are you doing over the course of the evening?
Alright. 3 questions. Let's play.
Okay. You pull the book out that is a link to your celestial patron.
Based on Gunter's description, I know that it was the 9th path that took his stuff, correct? That's fair to assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Where has the 9th path taken Gunter's belongings?
You transcribe this in celestial, the language rapidly becoming familiar to you, and something that, without even thinking about it, like, you know, if you were to sit down and take like a celestial test, you would flunk that thing. But for some reason, when you just think and let your hand do the movements, these brilliantly complex, twisting glyphs just form. But as the letters sink down into the page, what emerges is a single word, which to you, it's the word Yorn.
Yorn?
Yorn.
Y-O-R-N.
Y-O-R-N.
Okay. Does that mean anything to me?
Make a history check.
Hooray. Nope.
What was it?
It's a place, right?
What'd you roll?
Wonderful old 3.
Well, you know, given the way that you worded the question, yeah, probably a place.
Mm-hmm. Where is the Yorn that they have taken Gunter's stuff?
This glyph.
Yeah, it's
Despite
not real
most
pretty.
that are like beautiful and kind of rotating, this one's like kind of jagged and stilted. But yeah, you submit it. What is the actual question you're asking?
I guess like where in the north is the Yorn, this Yorn that they have taken Gunter's belongings?
The answer that comes back to you is, you will find Yorn at the end of the giant step.
So now we know that for sure. I don't think I need anything else. Is Squall's End dangerous right now?
What comes back is Dominion is dangerous right now.
I'm gonna roll my eyes at him for that one. All right, what a trickster, huh?
is
I
it
knew
raining
you would do
outside?
it.
It's raining outside somewhere.
Is it raining? It's raining, yeah, on the planet Earth. So yeah,
It's,
all right, that's fine.
you're in the
What's
middle
the
of the
weather
world
like in Yorn?
ending, and you ask, "Is it dangerous?"
I guess, yeah, more particularly dangerous, but that's okay. I didn't say that. That's fine.
You
I
just
know he's a
asked.
trickster and he's elusive and whatever, so that's fine. I'll let him have that one.
Just like Guntir.
I would say that you're getting the sense that it's more that he's really literal,
Yeah.
less that he is a trickster. It might come off as that, but he is very literal. There is, you're beginning to get the sense. Angelic creatures, higher level celestials, they don't really lie. They may not even be able to. And so the idea of like of having words have double meaning and things like that doesn't translate terribly well. And for you who utilize language very much like that, there is definitely some learning. It's a learning curve.
Cool. All right, I'll just tap the quill on the page a few times at that last one, and then just close the book in one hand and then pull out the other book and Chapter 3. People, places, and things. And start reading Elvish.
Sure. So you begin to learn. You can mark off another 3 hours for that. Shae, make a wisdom saving throw.
God, save returns.
No. Well, thankfully they have that bit of his...
18.
18. You find a place to sleep. You kind of ready your area as you normally do. For you, you've spent a long time, many hours, many days, learning how to quiet your thoughts, learning how to make the chaos of every day something both still and malleable. And it takes you some time. But despite the thoughts and the fears and the anxieties of what may lie ahead, you do find sleep. All of you can mark off a long rest.
Yay.
Heinrich, as the morning comes, the gray light just rising slowly. For you with dark vision, almost hard to tell at first, but then suddenly you're aware it is getting lighter. The snow over the course of the night does pile and forms almost a foot drift into the space. Looking out, it's snowed about a foot overnight. The path thickly covered. Still gray, but not quite as dark as it had been. But morning does find you, and it is the 13th of the Claws of Winter, which, if it matters to you, is a Sunday.
No dying
it
today,
does.
Guntir. Well, anyone need anything before we go?
Got
I
any
should-
more of that bacon?
I don't have anything!
Hey, Gunter, you have no food.
Oh, well, they left me my gold. Maybe we could go buy some big... Oh, wait, we're on the middle of a mountain with no markets anywhere.
Don't be cranky. I give him one of my rations.
Okay. You get
I
the
just-
sort of traveler's bread and right into your mouth.
In the middle of him complaining, just
Alright, I'll eat one more of those beads of nourishment, which
Okay.
I've been so carefully...
Eat it, and it kind of just... It turns into mush in your mouth, and although there isn't much of a flavor, you do feel full.
Good, yes.
Functional.
I obviously eat one of my rations myself
Yeah.
too.
Of course.
Likewise.
Jay, you good? Okay.
Good.
You guys have a quick breakfast and pack up your things. Do you begin to travel up the mountain?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A little easier now that it's later out. The beginning part of the day, no longer climbing in the dark. Even with the thick fall of snow, you make very good progress. You pick your way through. Who's leading this journey, Shae?
Most likely me.
Make
I think I would be attempting to keep up with Shae.
I'm setting a
and-
quick pace, but not one that they can't keep up with.
Even me?
Even you.
Alright,
Okay.
I'm gonna guidance. I'm gonna fall at some point. And
Every now and then, Shae, you feel Gunter collide with you, or like you hear him make these slipping noises, and he impacts you. But every time, there's a of guidance. Go ahead and make a perception check. Make it with guidance.
That is a 20. 6.
You climb this mountain with Gunter colliding with you multiple times, Morwen and Heinrich making easier progress.
Oh, no.
You're aware. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, are you good with the caboose?
Sure.
Okay, I was gonna say because I can get it, and I just got Frank on my tail, being like, I can see behind me. So.
Sorry,
And as
I'll-
she says that, Frank's skull just slides on the tail so that the eyes are looking back.
Yeah, it's alright. Nod's here.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
I'll
put
have
Frank
Nod
away.
sweeping
He's
every
cold.
once in a while as well.
He's chilly.
In the same way that Frank turned on your tail, Nod's head just turns to look behind at you, Morwen. But, sure. You guys begin to trek With that 26 perception check, you guys walk. With the light now, you can see the mountain neighboring just off to the east as you pass this huge valley below. You see a frozen element, thin streaks of color in the water. You would recognize a much more a much more northern part of the River of Color that you guys had crossed a long time ago. You continue to climb following this path. You would pass two more of those little alcoves. At about midday, Shae, you look down. You can see wisps of cloud. You are making pretty good progress. You look back. Guntir is sort of slowing everything, but you feel pretty confident. You'll reach the peak where you would crest over and see the beginnings of Squall's End in probably about 6 hours. Right around 6 o'clock, you should get there right around sundown. Over the course of that portion of your journey, is there anything that anybody wishes to do?
No.
I think just like on my guard, looking for my stuff.
Sure. You progress up. And to your left, Shae, you pass elements of tall, jagged, frozen columns of at one point were basalt that has splintered a long time ago. You'd imagine the other half on a different mountain.
Mm-hmm.
This snow accumulating over top, and you can see bits of, at one point, like now brown and frozen and matted to the side, bits of moss that had covered up at one point here. Even in your lifetime, when you were very young, probably you don't remember it, but there was a time where this was not all frozen. At least not always. You continue, and as you all walk, it gets closer to 2, 3 o'clock. The wind here is intense. You can feel similar to the first time that you guys approached, scaling the edge of the mountain, walking that long path and using pythons and climbing equipment to get through. Similar in intensity, this wind, almost unnatural. But you continue to climb. Right before 6 o'clock, Shae, you leading, see the first thing that is very askew from what you're used to. You do see a portion of the Raven Tower. Oh, sorry. As you crest the mountain that leads to kind of the flattening out portion that would be the one of the first residential clusters, there is noise. You can hear voices, and as you come through, there are people everywhere. You see monks. There's a good number of them who have kind of gathered outside the halls of Dharma. You can see you see part of the Raven's Tower shorn cleanly in half. You can see from the top, which normally is 180 feet in the air, as if somebody had taken a single blade and carved the entire tower in half. Cleanly down the middle, you can see areas where hooks still rise out, cages at one point hung on, but the cages themselves will be part of it, like still hanging in the middle, clean. Like a huge diagonal, and as your eyes follow it, you can see the mountain itself has a cleft in it that seems to go back beyond the tower. You follow it to a portion of Gamble's workshop that has also been cleanly cut. You can see the windmill that spun behind it. Most of those blades now like piled up in a ruin at the feet of it. You can see it's as if this huge slash cut its way clean down Squall's End.
Running up
You see
to the first person I see, and what happened?
Man, I had a cold last weekend, and it's been a slow recovery. You run, and as you do, people do turn. You can see a little bit of the noise kind of quiets. About 500 feet away, you can see the halls of Dharma. this tri-tiered structure. You can see fairly simple square base that's about 18 feet high, striated gray and white stone. The next, another square tier on top, and then another with a roof that leads to the base of each progressively higher tier. The very top one has a high peaked roof with curved ceilings, and in the wind you can hear small chimes lightly dinging together, even in the stiff breeze. And here, the breeze is erupting out. And I would say with your passive perception, Shae, and Guntir, and actually I think even Morwen, because I think, Heinrich, yours is the lowest, right? Yours is 12?
Mm-hmm.
You all are aware of the fact that this wind is emanating from the halls of Dharma. Shae, as you look beyond the person who you kind of pull forward, just a person who lives within Squall's End, like a middle-aged man, your eyes kind of go beyond. You can see the doors to the halls of Dharma, which almost like shaped like a bell with an exaggerated, flared-out top, about 8 feet tall. They're natural red wood, and you can see both of them are open. One of the doors bisected diagonally. You can see the other one like has been pulverized. Looks as if it was shoved outwards and then smashed into the stone wall next to it, damaging the wall coming to rest there. There's a huge gathering of monks, and very quickly you spot a few that you recognize. You see, all of you would see Gamble. You can see he seems to be wearing like this, what looks like sort of almost like an eye patch, although it covers part of his entire face. You could see he has a crutch or like this piece of wood that is kind of propping him up. He looks pretty hurt. You would all see, huh?
He's alive though.
Very much alive. You can see he's kind of standing. He seems to be directing things. Shae, you've never seen him look this tired. You can see, Shae, you would know one of the mystics, this gnomish mystic, Ibomia. You can see another Way of the Windspear, Aarakocra, Crook, who you would actually, is roughly your age. You had trained with him a few times. You would also see the Raven Keeper himself, who familiar to you, Shae, and to you, Matt, as Roland, the monk who at one point you had helped, we'll say. You can see he also appears pretty injured. For all of you, you see a very familiar figure standing almost a foot taller than everybody else. Brilliant, almost fiery red hair that cascades from the dark blue furry face, or not, the pale blue furry face of Larara, the furbolg from Smuggler's Dug. You see next to her, and they're all kind of gathered in a group, maybe 30 feet away from the opening. You can see the wind in all of their hair. You see Roland's bald head, just like bits of snow cresting across it. You also see Shae Pericolo, the Winjanazi, this old, kind of graying bird, kind of fat, slumped over on his shoulder. Everybody seems injured. There's maybe a couple dozen monks who are in the immediate area helping people. You see wounded, and then Shae, you also see off a little bit closer to what you know is the shoe cluster, a number of very simple bits of cloth draped over what look like bodies. There are dozens of them.
Going over to that group of monks.
Okay. You go over. The guy kind of like gestures as you stop him and then immediately push past. You all see all of this. You see Shae approaching a group of people familiar to most of you. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna go up to Gamble. Like, what happened here?
Okay, so you guys all begin pushing through the crowd towards this group of monks assembled outside the halls of Dharma. But because it's 10 o'clock, because I'm losing my voice, I need to have a fisherman's friend. We're going to take a quick break. Yeah, it's pretty gross, but they work really well. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back I'm going to see if I can iron out the music. I have an idea as to what's going on. And that would be very great. So it is 10:09. We will see you at 10:20. We'll see you then. And howdy, folks. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon, now with music. Able to figure that out over the course of the break. If we do start lagging, please let us know. It's something that we've noticed has happened coming back from break a couple times. So just, let us know if it's happening. It's a work in progress. But coming back to where we were, give me just one moment. Let me pull this music up so it's more appropriate. Okay. It is windy and it is cold. And from this vantage point, I mean, you guys can all see there is a fair crowd that is gathered. You all push through to get to this group that you know. You see Laurora, this furball with the bright orange hair, bundled up a little bit more than you're used to seeing her. Turn and look. Her expression softens a little bit and she smiles. Shae, you see Gamble. You can see underneath this, it's like a piece of olive colored cloth that has been fastened like a makeshift eye patch, but you can see elements of blood kind of coming underneath and dried to his face. You can see in the one eye, you can see this visible bag. You can see there is a bruise forming under his cheek. You can see a few of the other monks in this area kind of back up a little bit as you all approach. There is nervousness. You also see in this moment too, there are a number of these monks who are all focused very much on the doors of the halls of Dharma. And as you approach, Shae, you stepping here now, you see the shape of the door bisected, the other one smashed out, and you turn, and looking away from it, you can see now, it's as if two huge blades left the doorway, and you can see on one path bisected the Raven Tower, the workshop of Gamble, maybe 200 feet beyond that, and the mountain itself beyond that.
Wait,
And then
sorry
going...
to interrupt, but
Sure.
how bad do we think this lag is supposed to be? Because the stream is still showing the break screen.
We should be
I know, so-
fine now.
What usually happens is there's that delay, and the break screen in the lag of coming back seems to show up for a little bit, and they can hear us typically.
I asked if they could, and no one's responded.
It's also...
But
who knows?
I just wanted to bring that to whatever. Continue.
Appreciate it. I think it's going to be an ongoing problem every time that we come back.
Okay.
Although, I don't know. Because I'm seeing our break screen also.
Do you want me to take us back into break and come back?
I'm trying to remember what we did last week.
That's
Yeah.
what we
Could
did.
you do that? Because Talon said he can't hear us.
Going to break. Back.
Okay. So maybe hello. Maybe welcome back. We don't know. We'll give it just a second. Oh, yeah. We are back now. Okay. So thank you, Talon, for troubleshooting that for us. But we come back within Squall's End. You can see in front of you all of those monks who you are now making your way through. Shae, as you got to the door and turned, you could see it looked as if two massive blades cleaved out through the doorway. You can see one of the doors actually cut cleanly in half. And you see it traveling out, bisecting diagonally the Raven Tower, and then cleanly cutting through Gamble's workshop, and then cleanly cutting into the mountain beyond. This strike seeming to travel at least close to 1,000 feet that you can see. You see the other pathway takes it across town. You can see a section of like residential housing where parts of the roofs and windows are cleanly hewn. You don't see splintered wood. You don't see torn bits of structure. It looks like a single quick blow. You see the ornamental bridge that connected Squall's End to the actual monastery itself. Severely damaged. You can see parts of it, broken wood hanging. But what would you all like to do? You come to within this crowd.
What happened?
Go up to Gamble and then Zinni. Are you okay?
Shae, is that really you? And he kind of hobbles forwards. You can see using the crutch to move.
Yes, Uncle, we're back.
When Kroddick returned without you, I thought, well, a lot has happened, Shae. All of you.
Yes.
And he kind of gathers through. You can see Laura comes forwards to you, Heinrich. She smiles sadly. Hi. It's good seeing you again.
It's good to see you too. What did you come to? And I'm looking around. Lend aid or something? What happened here?
Yeah, it seemed like things were going wrong. Something in the trees was saying. Down in the grove, of course, not here, but something strange happened. It was a disruption, magical.
And you heard it all the way from Smuggler's Dug?
We felt it beginning, but not from Smuggler's Dug. It was further to the east.
What exactly was it?
I don't know, but do you remember when I brought you here the first time?
Oh, well, sure.
You remember how we moved through one tree and out through a different one?
Yeah, not the most comfortable experience, but definitely one of a kind.
It was like that, but on a larger scale.
Something moved into here?
Gamble turns, you guys talking next to Gamble and Shae. It was the ninth path.
Ah,
We found...
ran into them at the base of the mountain. They took all my stuff.
Well, it's a lot worse than that, I'm afraid. I don't know where to begin. And you can see Lurara kind of stand up a little bit straighter. Oh, well, it... From inside that building, and she turns and points to the halls of Dharma, there was, like, some kind of an attack, right? And you can see Gamble nod. The ninth path found some way to enter from the inside.
They built a gate.
Perhaps.
They did.
But that's what it was. We saw it when we were in Coltera. Well, kind of saw it, right?
Who are you saying right to?
Anyone?
Just generally to the party.
You mean
Continue.
Sasso?
Kind of
and
over the shoulder, like, right? Yeah, that's what we saw.
Continue, Gamble. I'll fill in the gaps once your story's complete.
Well, we do not know. We cannot go into the structure itself. It's guarded from within. They
By
seem
what?
to be retreating. The ninth path and other things that they've brought, but there are wrinkles in this plan, it would seem.
Hey, you think the one who stole my stuff is in there?
No.
No.
They came in from down below and they attacked and pushed us to the doors. They did something within. We don't know what. But they seem to be retreating now.
Well, I've got some more bad news.
I wasn't finished with mine, but Guntir, go ahead.
Oh, they stole my staff. Well, our staff.
We'll get to that. Continue, Gamble, please.
I'm very sorry about your staff.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Shae Hyland was not with them.
No. Was Tabaxi.
No. It was the listener.
It's not good.
He wields a power that I have not seen him wield before. He gestures, and you can see behind those two huge cuts. He wields a blade invisible, but capable of such destruction. I have never seen anything like it.
Gamble, where's Era?
And at this, you can see he can't make eye contact with you. There is no easy way to say this, Shae, but they have taken her. Along with... And he looks, and now you looking through the crowd, you're acutely aware of the fact that you do not see a single mountain elf.
Were they all taken? Or did they leave of their own accord?
Those that were not killed outright were taken. I thought, at its base, this was a difference in ideas. This ninth path. There is something else happening.
There is. Uncle, in Koltaram, we discovered that they were creating a gate to find a way into the halls of Dharma from outside of the village.
Who's...
The
Also,
Ninth
we
Path.
killed Pindscale, for the record.
Yes, Krodok did inform us of this.
Oh, good. Chronicle was here.
He still is.
Say goodbye.
Oh, he still is? Where?
He sustained a pretty decent injury during the battle, but he's helping somewhere now.
Ah,
Find him.
Chronic's back.
Morwen, make a perception
Silver
check. You're looking for
linings.
him.
Not like moving to go look
I'm
for him,
gonna-
but I'm definitely like.
Yeah, just looking around.
I'm elbowing Morwen, being like, silver linings, guidance.
Sure. You can use your guidance.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You look around, you can see there are other Aarakocra, although not many. You can see one fairly close to you, the plumage a lot whiter and a little bit closer to snow. You had actually seen previously, Shae, that is Crook, who's the Way of the Wind Spear. You don't see Krodok immediately.
Alright, eyes are open during this whole conversation.
Fantastic.
In Zinyi, switch over. Uncle, when Guntir says staff, what he means is that we encountered Ninth Path monks at Koltaram and they had found a reliquary.
In Koltaram.
Yes.
There are several that could be there. It's not impossible. That doesn't bode well, but if they don't have the correct rod, then there is little they can do.
I'm aware.
And of the three that could be in Koltaram, we should have all of the attunement rods here.
They now have the reliquary again. They took it from Guntir.
You can see, and you don't really understand what they're saying, Guntir, but you can see all of a sudden the attention's all on you. Everybody but Lorara, who is
I
just
kinda
kind of
like-
like...
I'm like, oh. And kind of just like shake my head. Like, I understand completely what you're saying, and I too am disappointed.
If Aira was here, we could find out. She would know what was within it, but without her...
It's worse, I'm afraid. I was given the impression that Jaruxa is with Hylan.
Perhaps. There is something about this that doesn't make sense. Months ago, when Hylan turned, it was a shock. It broke my heart. Master Solano was a good man.
He was.
But I have seen her not since then. You have. Has she changed?
Yes and no. She's still Hylon, but there is something wrong about her.
He looks around at everybody. You get the sense that there's more that he wants to say, but he doesn't. Whatever is happening, the first thing that we need to do is understand what has been added or taken from the halls.
Yes.
At the moment, with Aira gone, with Crick gone, with most of the guard gone, Krodok is perhaps our best warrior before you all returned. I don't know if your friends would be able to help us, but...
Is this on thingy still?
I gotta get my
you don't
stuff
understand
back,
any of this.
Gamble.
Gamble turns to you. In a moment, Guntir.
Well,
well, I was saying.
we are here. I will ask them.
Oh, you were still in
Zinni.
Zinni. That's right.
So I'll turn him. With the sudden lack in leadership, they don't
I
have
can be the captain.
Second up! I gotta get my stuff back.
They don't have many warriors that can do the favor
Yeah.
of checking out the halls to see what
Yeah,
has changed.
let's go.
It is, to be very clear, also not a favor. I do like all of you, and Shae, of course. You are my family as much as any person is. But it is dangerous. The halls, Shae, you have never been to the... I'm gonna look up because I forgot the notes. You have never been down the Shinling path. That is, I fear, where they have gone.
Of course.
It is more dangerous than the path of the body or the path of the mind. The path of the soul is designed to unmake you.
I've been walking down the Shingling path for a couple years now, so I think we'll be just fine.
I mean,
I need my stuff.
if it's truly that dangerous, is there any extra goodies you could provide like last time?
Yeah, I actually don't. A point of order.
You see, as Gamble turns, using the crutch to move, the one good eye looks out beyond, and you can see half of his workshop is missing. There's a perfect diagonal cutting through the massive forge that you had once seen. You can see now areas where the molten metal, had dripped out from that injury and then hardened like slag down the sides.
I'll look to and just be like, I mean,
I have
we'd
some
settle for
things
some-
that I am working on. In light of all of this, it is clear that we need to be ready, but nothing for the moment.
So,
Alright, well, if you stumble upon even any, those little health potions or something.
you got like an
No.
extra sword or something lying around?
I'm sure we could find you a sword if you need one.
Yeah, they stole all my stuff. I'm in this as much as you are now.
Even my portable
And
shotgun.
also previously, but now more than ever because of the urgent need of this.
Oh, well,
Yes, Uncle, even the shelter.
And he waves over to another one of these monks. You see, this actually, you know her. She's a gnome. She's a mystic. She kind of comes over and he says, "Could you please see about getting Guntir a sword?" And she turns to you, Guntir, and kind of looks you up and down. You can see she's like real mousy looking face, kind of like all the features kind of pulled in more towards the middle. There's like too much face around the outside. But she kind of looks up at you.
I look down like,
Hi. You just stare down. She's like 3 feet tall. So you're like, for the first time in your life, you tower over somebody. But she looks up at you. Well, what kind of sword would you like?
A sharp one. I don't know, something that hits good.
Oh, long, short, two-hand? What are we talking about?
Hey, you got any axes?
Yeah, we could find one. What, mechanically speaking, Guntir, what weapon are you looking for?
Well, I've been using a war axe, I believe.
Okay.
So, war axe or something similar.
Ha!
But
Let me look.
Guntir's not
And she
picky. He'll
just
use
kinda
whatever he needs to slice someone.
treks off into the snow. In about 10 minutes, she comes back with a very simple but very, very well made war axe. Versus
that's
yours,
cool.
the dwarvish one with the broad blade. This one, almost like razor straight edge that comes in, and you can see almost seems to descend in like a zigzagging pattern towards the heft, and then as it exits into the back, you can see it makes a single long spike. Nice looking axe.
Heft it.
Great
Yeah.
balance.
This'll do.
Good.
Yeah.
And Gamble nods to you and sorry that I couldn't do more.
Hey, the times are hard. I just need my stuff back. And
Before you go, also please be aware this path of the soul, it doesn't stay within the halls. There are elements of it that take you beyond this plane.
And I think
Whether
to myself,
they-
not my first rodeo.
Whether they brought these things with them or they have somehow escaped the pathway of the soul, there are creatures that are impossible to see, yet they can do very real harm. So be careful.
Of course.
careful is my middle name.
I seem to recall, Guntir, that you had a number of middle names.
That's one of them.
Indeed. Well, if you wouldn't mind and you could all help. They seem to be withdrawing within, and whether or not they will close off however they came or bury what it was they came for, we need to know something. Right now, all we have is questions.
Of course. We'll go.
All right, let's get to work.
I'm gonna start
Uh,
making my way.
Okay.
Oh, are we just going in right now?
No.
Guntir shares.
I'm making my way. I'm not going in. I'm just making my way over there.
Okay. You want to look around for Croddick? If
Grab-
you want to take a little bit of time, take 10
Guntir.
minutes or so. You grab Guntir, you stop him. As Shae stops Guntir, Morwen, you kind of dart out into the crowd. It would take you maybe like 10 minutes to find them. But picking through all the elements of a broken building, you can see, and you would actually come to, I don't remember if you saw Croddick's house or not.
I
She
did.
went
When we
with
first got there, I went in and I fainted in there.
That's right. So you, in the same neighborhood as Croddick, he is helping rebuild and rebuild is a strong word. He's taking down parts of a house where the second floor is missing probably about 8 feet, just clean cut in half. Part of the shoe cluster, actually. But you see him there. He is hurt. You can see his arm in a sling. But otherwise, not in terrible shape.
Hi.
At that, you see all the feathers kind of ruffle. They go across from the left shoulder down to the right. The
Doesn't
wings,
seem like a good thing.
and he turns, kind of bends down, and you see, for Croddick, this Aarakocra, not an expressive face, but there is relief in his eyes. He turns, he makes his way over to you. Morwen,
Hi, yeah, you seem to be in the same state as that first time I visited this place. What's going on?
I think
How does that?
better than I was then.
Good.
There has been a lot happening. You have missed a lot. There's been an attack, and he just goes through everything that you just learned from Gamble. But he looks over after finishing it. Did you bring everybody else?
Yeah, we're all here.
Well, I am most happy to see you, but we need everybody. Gamble
Oh.
will want to know you're here.
Oh no, we already
Come.
saw
And he
Gamble.
kind of grabs you by the wrist and kind of leads you along through the crowd. You guys all see.
Bro, if he's leading me through the crowd and we're holding hands, they're just gonna be like holding
You
his
guys all
hands
see.
like, yeah.
Chronic
kind of a
clearly
thing.
leading Morwen. They're not holding hands. Chronic is like holding Morwen's wrist and kind of guiding her through this very densely
Still
packed
acting
part
the
of the
same.
crowd. Morwen clearly reading into it much more. You guys make your way back to the group. As a group, you guys now outside the halls of Dharma.
Okay. Sick. Found Chronic, guys.
Oh, great. Craddock! We're gonna go bust this Halls of Dharmas.
We are not going to bust the halls of Dharma.
Well,
and
we're gonna
Guntir,
get
I have been very
the
nice
Niners.
about your transgressions in the past. Do not deface this place.
Well, we're gonna... I'm sorry. There's been a misunderstanding. Hi. Sorry you had to leave without saying goodbye. Yeah. But, we're gonna go and, get the stuff back that the Niners took from us. We're here to help.
I imagined as much, but please take care. This is a very... Special
Careful is
place.
one of my middle names.
Guntir, I know that's not true.
Actually, speaking of when you disappeared, you went to Dungannon, right?
Briefly, yes.
How's it going over there?
I've never been. It was marvelous. Frankly, not as beautiful as Squall's End was, but I've never seen buildings that old, even older than here.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
The statues were wonderful. I've never seen things that large. The scale of some of them. But it seemed to be in a bit of a panic, not outright, but like when you fly overhead, or I guess for you, when you walk overhead and you look down and see a colony of ants, you can tell when something is wrong.
Well, if I survive these halls, maybe you and I can take a nice trip or a vacation there sometime, and I can introduce you to my family.
I'm afraid, Morwen, we haven't heard much about your family.
Well, let's just hope you can hear more if we survive.
Well, I don't know how much you've...
Time's a wasting. Let's go.
As you
holding
begin to
Guntir.
walk, Chronic walking with you. Guntir's just his feet sliding in the snow, but he's not going anywhere. Chronic says, I'm sorry to say, I don't think it would be good for a vacation right now. It seems that there is a bit of a problem keeping the dead in the ground.
I just kind of like hike up my backpack, hoping Frank didn't hear that. Well,
Probably didn't.
I don't know what to say. Pass.
This whole time, I feel like I would have walked over to Gamble and Lorara. And to both of them, either of them, if... Gamble, you mentioned these foes we may face are difficult to see. Or literally impossible, or just hide well.
Well, I could not see them. It seemed as if they were made of the wind.
I see. Lorara, does this sound familiar to you at all?
You know, when Gamble was talking about it earlier, I didn't put too much into it. You know, she turns to Shae. You're all so quick, and it can be kind of hard to see you sometimes. Against the wyvern, there were times where your hands moved quicker than I could see. It looked as if you had none, which I know you did, but I didn't put too much stock into it. But I know that Perry, and she turns and she points over at this this air genasi. You can see, actually, Guntir, Matt, if you want to describe what Pericolo looks like now.
He's like more or less the same as what he looked like, which was he's got like light blue, kind of palish skin, white hair, kind of looks like stereotypical Jack Frost depiction. But then he's got like a little chubby, still very cute snowbird on his shoulder. But it's old as fuck now.
Yeah, like the feathers are kind of patchy. You can see like where once there was this smattering of brilliant blue coloration across the back feathers, it's now faded into almost like a storm cloud gray.
Yeah, and yeah, he's wearing just like pretty simple studded leathers and got an bow, probably having a bow in his hand, just like standing there.
I've said his name wrong, I think 3 times now, but that guy over there, he had some kind of an idea about it. He said they were from where he was from.
Huh. Okay, well, thank you. If you excuse me, I'm just gonna start approaching him.
Okay. You walk up.
Pellicula. Pellicula.
He turns. I'm sorry, are you referring to me?
I'm sorry, Lorara didn't seem to remember your name. I don't mean to put her on the spot, but I took a stab at it myself. Is that what is your name?
He looks at you for a second. You can call me Perry.
Perry, cool. Nice to meet you. I'm Heinrich. Traveling with gesture over to our group.
Looks over and sees Morwen and Guntir, and then kind of locks eyes with you, Shae. Oh.
Walk over and join them. Kind of
Shae.
half dragging Guntir with me.
Let me
I'll follow.
It has been many months.
It has. It's good
How
to see
fare
you well.
you during these troubled times?
Still alive. See the same for you.
For now. Things have been very troubled around here.
Indeed.
So, you know each other. That's great. That's great.
Yes, this is Perry. He's a good friend of the Order.
I see. Perry, Lorara mentioned or I guess Gamble did too, with the creatures that are down in the Path of the Mind. Is that what it is? It had a different name, and I don't remember what it is.
The soul.
Gamble pipes up. It's the path of the soul.
Okay, Path of the Soul. Right, but these creatures that are invisible or something, and you seem to know something about them. I'm just not keen on jumping into danger without knowing anything about our potential foes here.
From what I know of those from your plane, they're called invisible stalkers, which very creative, very imaginative. They're invisible, and they're very good at tracking.
Uh-huh.
I've been called the same. I look over at Krodok.
Krodok is like uncomfortable.
He's like, I do call you that. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, clearly, with our creative naming process here on this plane, they're invisible. Is there a way around that, possibly? Maybe some sort of way to mark them, or like how if you were to throw like a bunch of dirt in the air and it would hit something that you couldn't see, but it would stick. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm getting at here?
Do you not know
Yes,
how
it
planes work?
sounds like you're describing exactly what you would do.
Okay, but there's no special tools or anything that you might know or have. Literally just dirt? That would be the best idea, or?
Well, not the best. For these things, where I'm from, they're fairly easy to avoid, and typically to bring them to this plane, they do need to be brought. They do not just come. They are given a task, and they will follow this task very well. But as smart creatures, they can attempt to find ways to circumvent the original intention. So left for too long, they will wander.
Okay. Well, that's not good. And, alright, I guess dirt it is then. Or something.
Maybe best to avoid them if you could.
Yeah, I'm just foreseeing with our luck running into them. Just how things have been going lately.
Do you intend to go into the halls? And Gamble looks up.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they're going to help us out.
Yes, Perry, we're going in.
They took my staff.
Regardless of that too, I mean, we did, I hate to use this as a brag, but just as a way to calm your mind, we did just take down Kindscale and Kultaram.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a big deal or anything, but
Quite a big deal.
yeah.
Shae, well done.
Thank you. Though it was much more difficult to fight than my comrades make it sound.
No doubt. I've only seen one dragon, and not something that I would choose to fight.
I've seen it too.
At least, yeah.
Okay, well,
Well-
I guess just avoid them and throw dirt at them. That's the best we got. Okay.
Best of luck with that strategy. I came here for a different reason. Originally, this unfortunate business, something that I caught up in, but do you remember where I last went off to, Shae?
Would I remember?
You know vaguely that he was traveling or attempting to travel to Everest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Vaguely, did you end up making it there?
Yes, thank you. I managed to get to my destination, this place that is called the Field of Frost. It is a beautiful place, and actually where my friend is from. And you see this like sleeping, wilting almost bird. But there are things happening there that I am not comfortable with. And I sought Era's advice. Something seems to be leaking around the edges, as if something somewhere in this multiverse is breaking part of it. I don't know what yet. It's something that I intend to find out. I'm actually on my way towards the Ald now. Or at least after all this.
Is that near the Yorn?
Well, I'll be going underneath Yorn to get there, of course, but
What? Sorry, just what is Yorn? I was given a bit of info on.
Would I
Where we
recognize that name?
yes, of course you would. Yorn is the cloud giant city that floats above the giant steppe. It is ruins. It is dangerous to get to, dangerous to be in. Parts of it now and then will crumble from the sky, just hundreds of tons of stone. You know that it was built by the very first cloud giants in the First Age. It is one of the oldest structures that exists on Alberon.
Relay all that and add that is where the ninth path is.
That's
So that's where the stuff is too.
yes, Guntir. That's where all of your stuff is.
Well, all of our stuff.
Y-
The
Sure.
stick is missing too.
Listen, you're all adventurers, so perhaps you've heard of the Ald and what befell it. I think there is some kind of a link there. The things that happened. The mountain elves in particular disappeared. What was that?
The Alden Wefferbellet?
What?
What?
What do you say?
Is that
I'm gonna like back of my hand to
Translation,
Gunter's forehead and be like, and check his cheeks to see. Do you smell toast, Gunter? You smell burning toast.
So Matt, what are you saying? You're saying the Ald
I was just mispronouncing what
Okay.
he just said.
Fair enough.
The Alden Weffabelet.
I'm heading to the Ald because I think there is a correlation between it being pulled beneath the waves and whatever is happening in Yorn.
Likely. There seems to be a connection with how the North was broken years and years and years ago.
There is something. But again, I don't know what. Something is breaking its way either into or out of this plane. But there is so much happening here, it's hard to get a complete picture. Wyverns, Shae. I saw them.
Yes.
You killed a few.
Yes.
One tried to date me.
You can see he narrows his eyes at you a little bit, Morwen, but turns
I mean, I can't blame him.
and nods respectfully to you, Heinrich. As someone who took down a dragon, I would imagine of little consequence comparatively, but beautiful beasts.
They are at
Impressive. Beautiful.
Speaking of, hey, Gambo, you get those wyvern bits into something good for me?
It's a work in progress. There's been
I understand.
things happening.
Yeah, obviously.
You look
Figured,
back, workshop ruined.
Could be a good time to use those, but that's fine. That's fine.
It's, like I said, something that we're working on. And
Yeah. I'll work on getting back our stuff.
okay.
Look, I think it might just be wise if we get out of here and just take care of this.
Thank you.
Yes.
It would set my mind at ease to know whatever way they found in is closed or shut or locked. That is too great a vulnerability. The listener knows more than any of us about the structure itself. It worries me that he seems to be taking allegiance with this ninth path. Be very careful.
Yes. Alarming indeed.
What's a listener?
Would Guntir
Maybe.
know what the listener was?
No.
What's a listener?
You know what? Actually, Gunter, make a history check.
I'm just gonna assume they're talking about Frank because he's
Sure.
a great listener.
He's a good listener. Yeah.
Natural 20!
Natural 20.
The one person or the
The one for
session.
tonight,
Yeah.
Gunter,
Yeah.
you hear the listener and you go back. You've heard in your lifetime so many titles, but something about the listener. It takes you back to a place. Oh, man. I have to pull up some deep lore here.
My
it
eyes
takes
roll
you-
back
wow.
like twice.
Ew.
It takes you.
It's deep lore.
It takes you back to Dungannon, actually.
Rolodex.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's like a rusty Rolodex.
It takes you back to where?
Dungannon.
To Dungannon.
Would I know?
You would not, but Gunter, you
I'm
would
so
know.
old.
Yeah, I'm 6. So fair.
I'm like a good couple of chapters of history. Just like. But you have to like really go through all the pages, and some of them are faded and worn out.
Most
Some
of
of them are just torn out completely.
So you know, Gunter, that there is a structure there called Castle Koch, Koch. It's an old Elvish keep. It had 3 towers and a raised central keep. Morwen, you know this. It's one of the most central, most iconic. It's actually on gold pieces that are minted in Dungannon. It is the central thing of this. It's Castle Koch. It used to be the seat of power when the Koch family were monarchs of Dungannon before, and this is close to 800 years ago, before the current sort of weird governmental structure took over. It's still owned by the Koch family. But Gunter, you know that there is an honorific given to the person who is the warden or steward of that castle. It is also the listener, and you would remember that particular title comes from some ancient tale of monks. But even with the natural 20, that is the most that you would know about it.
So are we heading to Dungannon then?
Dungannon? No,
We
Oh,
gotta
I'd
go
like to
find the
head to
listener.
Dungannon.
not immediately. But
Oh, yeah, because we gotta find my stuff first. Hey, our stuff.
Our stuff.
All right,
So-
well, let's go find this
Are we
stuff.
done? I'd like to go and just get this over with.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I've
go,
been saying.
I'm gonna go say goodbye to Krodik again. You know, if they don't come back, it's been fun.
Oh,
And,
Craddock, you're not coming with us?
You know,
I
I hope not.
elbow
Look at him.
I could.
Morwen.
But, well, do you want me to accompany you?
I
Do
mean,
you think
it
he's
seems
gonna
like we
do
could
it?
use all the power we could, right?
I'm gonna eyeball Shae, being like, I don't really know what to do here, because he's like looking beat up, isn't he?
It's not looking great.
Well,
Rub some dirt in
opinion.
it.
So do
Hey.
you want him to go, or up to you guys? He'll go with you.
I'm eyeballing Shae for this one.
Your call. I just assumed.
Sky Brother, I would feel more at ease if you were to stay and help guard the city. There's not many left who can.
You can see it's as if the feathers in the back of his head smooth. And he nods to you and he says, Sky Sister, as you know, it is not my favorite place to go. I would appreciate it if I could lend aid here.
I would feel better knowing that you're here watching them.
He turns to you, Guntir,
Huh?
and he says, Guntir,
Yeah.
I do not enjoy the confined halls that exist beneath the ground here.
Oh, that's fine. We can probably handle it. We took out kind scale, right? Huh?
I kind of like give him a.
The chair.
You can see, yeah, I know. You can see he looks a little bit sheepish, and you can tell it. Well, you probably couldn't, but Matt can tell. In his mind, he's thinking back to Guntir like dead on the ground, Heinrich slaying kind scale. Since Krodik was the only other person conscious for that, but Krodik kind of nods a little bit, and he says, "Guntir, you have just given me the sky back, and I do not wish to lose it. So
Hey,
please take care of Shae."
what have I been doing this whole time?
Awkward.
You've been very antagonistic.
Well, she started it.
I'm gonna give Guntir a smack on the back of the head and start walking towards the door.
Okay, you begin to walk towards the door.
I'm just gonna follow Heinrich because my feelings a little hurt.
Okay, you
Questioning this
turn.
relationship.
You follow.
Feeling a little one-sided for the first time.
Okay, it took this long to feel that way. You turn around, you follow Heinrich, the two of you approaching the halls of Dharma. Guntir, are you doing something?
I'm gonna head over there too. I've been trying to get there to get my stuff back from the get-go.
Shae, is you're going as well?
Yes, stopping quickly to talk to Perry one last time before I go.
Okay. Gamble also grabs you and just kind of ends in you, quickly says, Shae, when you do, if you do, traverse this path, understand the reason that it's for masters only. It is quite dangerous. There are parts of it that seem to be a great field of mist. Your thoughts will guide you and your feet will not.
Thank you, Uncle. I will keep that in mind.
Thank you, Shae.
To Perry, I know that you are searching things on your own. Would you mind staying to look after Squall's End? Look after home while we are down?
You can see he shifts kind of uncomfortably. Make a persuasion check.
14.
14. I would normally, Shae. You know that this is like a second home, or even a first home for me, but I do think there is something that we're not seeing. Not yet. Something bigger than your halls, or the monastery, or even when he kind of looks up and vaguely gestures to the sky. There is something that none of us are seeing yet, and I must find it.
I understand. Will you please contact me when you find it?
I always come back, don't I?
You do.
Take care of yourself, Shae.
May the winds carry you forever.
You too.
And make my way down.
Sure. He turns and walks. You turn and walk. As a group, Heinrich, you definitely in the lead. You make your way through these doors.
I'm also going to just equip Loose real quick instead of Pus.
Okay, so for the
'Cause,
first
they
time in the
said-
campaign.
They said a bunch of undead stuff, so I am no longer working with Pus and Butts, I am working with Loose Butts.
I didn't even realize.
Yep. Been waiting for it.
Just so you guys know.
Been waiting for it.
This is the problem with building a
This
language.
isn't even my fault.
No.
Loose pus.
Well, very technically, if you want to go back to the base of it, I hadn't written Elvish until we started the campaign, and you guys determined that it was going to be Germanic and base.
Yep.
And so the only reason that it is a loose has a loose connection to Germanic language like structure. So technically, it is kind of your fault. That being said,
That's a very creative way to
Loose
dodge
butts.
the blame
Yes,
there
yeah.
for loose butts.
as you walk towards the structure, the wind increasing with every step, you can hear the wind chimes that hang above, still kind of loudly playing in the wind. The sound of the crowd and the footsteps sort of die down. The cold winter wind dies down. But in its place, you can feel the air moving past your cheeks. You can feel whatever source powering from within. But Heinrich, as you step through these doors, you enter into a fairly small room. You can see the striated gray and white stone formed out of a very smooth block. You would imagine maybe even just massive pieces of stone themselves. You can see this room that you walk into at one point had water on the left and the right hand side. You imagine kind of close to like the Gold Glow estate, that kind of decorative bridge with the bits of water. Shae, you joining them, you know that this is called the Kaishi room. It is the beginning of this journey. You can see the simple bamboo path, 5 feet wide, 10 feet long, that runs across either side of the water. You know, normally these small tadpoles, aquatic frogs, they live out their lives in this room. They are born, they live, they die. It is this ecosystem that continues. You follow it. It is mostly frozen over at this point. It's freezing as the doors have been both shorn clean off and smashed open. You can see the normal source of heat, Shae, this large cast iron stove-like pedestal. In the middle of the room, there's like a lone, like a statue of a faceless monk, their head slightly bowed, one arm broken away now. But you can see at its feet, there is this stove-like pedestal, currently cold. On either side, in the ice, where normally these frogs or tadpoles would be, there are broken bodies, scraps of orange and purple fabric, the sky blue of Zinyi stained dark with gore, the black of the ninth path frozen stiff with blood that had stained and then hardened within it. You see just jumbles, probably at least a dozen, in various states of damage or otherwise mangled. but the path itself is clear. You can continue.
Shae, do you want to take the lead on this one? This is your home.
Yes.
We're with you every step of the way.
Some of the path. I have not gone the route that we need to go now. But
And to your point, Shae, on the other end of this, past the path, there's a trio of these bamboo screen doors. All of them are pretty badly damaged. You can see, Shae, above each one in Xin Yi, there is like a little bit of a sign. You can see clearly marked the one on the left, Xin Ti, the one in the middle, Shu Zhuan, and the one on the far right, Xin Ling, which mean the body, the mind, and the soul. Each has a set of stairs that drop down and go down into the ground further. You see that the doors that lead to the body and the mind, almost like a thin rice paper that is attached to a wooden frame, the paper itself shredded inwards. You can see they've both been blown in. The doorway around the path of the soul, the paper itself almost gray, and as you kind of look at the parts that are buckled inwards and pushed up against the wall, they're not torn or broken. These have been taken off the hinges. You can see it looks as if there's been some extensive kind of work done around the hinges as well, perhaps an enchantment that was removed. Through that path, you can feel this wind emerge. That seems to be the source.
well, that is the path I'm heading towards, because that's where we need to go.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Following.
Definitely.
Following
I'll stay in here.
Okay.
down
You
to the
leave.
shingling
I'm
path.
gonna just pet Nod and be like, alright, time for you to take a break here, and I'll just dismiss Nod.
It just disappears. You guys walk. You begin to descend the stairs down the path of the soul. You walk down these stairs gradually. You can hear beneath your feet, they shift from wood to smoothly carved stone. It goes from the kind of hollow clop of your feet to all of a sudden being a little bit softer. And there is a curling squared pattern that is carved on the edge to give it a little bit of a grip. The stairs bring you first curving slowly to the left, and then straighten out for about 20 feet before ending in a small room, about 10 by 15 feet. Stone floor covered in elements of gritty sand. You can see Shae, the body of a human, the garb. You can kind of tell just an initiate, actually wearing clothing very similar to the clothing that Guntir stole. There's an empty bag that is kind of torn open and covering the wound across what is clearly a headless body, but this bag kind of over where the head would be. You can see the sand that is gathered around the corpse is steeped in blood. It's not frozen, and there is a little bit of an iron smell. Ahead of you, you can see another simple screen door that lies open. Beyond that, you see a huge pit of sand. The wind here, not as intense, the wind here more intense. You can see the central pit of sand is separated by small walls. They rise from floor to ceiling, but they're thin. And you can see in between them bored of various sizes, these holes, almost perfectly cylindrical. And as the wind blows through them, you can actually see there are elements of paper within that spin, like prayer wheels. As the wind goes through, you can see the sand shift and move. You can see there is a doorway beyond. There may be other doors. You can't see fully into the room because of these kind of interior walls. What do you want to do?
For the record,
Sure.
Guntir did not steal his Zinyi outfit. He fairly bartered for it.
Sure.
Point of order. In heading up to the sand, is it deep? Can I test it gingerly with a foot.
Okay. So to get to the sand, from where you're entering, so you come down the stairs, there's like 15 feet that get to the edge of where the sand is. It looks like, and you can see like a little bit of a lip. It seems to be a pit, but you can't tell how deep it is. Walking forwards into it, I'm going to just kind of tap your toe in it.
Yeah.
Your toe sinks into it a little bit, but quickly comes to, I mean, jamming your foot deeper and deeper, maybe like 2 feet deep, and then it just hits floor.
Okay. Progressing cautiously forward.
Okay. Everybody else?
Right
Yeah,
behind you.
Same.
I guess I'll. Okay. Sure.
Okay. Shae, Guntir, Morwen, Heinrich, you guys enter into this room.
Definitely looking around while I do.
Make a perception check. As you guys enter, you can see, if you were to enter from the southern side, off to the west, there is a path and leads to a doorway, a wooden doorway that's closed. And then down north, you can see another hall. It progresses 15 feet and then widens out. But beyond that first 15 feet where it becomes wide, just dark. You see nothing beyond that point. Shae, what's your perception check?
27.
For a minute, you close your eyes and you let your ears take over. You hear the sound. The wind blowing through these individual holes. You hear the sound of tons of these little pinwheels moving with the wind. You see the sand shift across this pit, and for just an instant, it seems to almost climb before scattering across.
As in something's there, or just...
As if it hit something that you could not quite see. You wait, you focus on it. What was your perception check? Is it 26?
27.
And you see, even as that disappears, one area in this pit of sand depress.
Backing up slowly.
You take a step back. This brings you next to Heinrich, with Morwen behind both of you, and then Guntir behind that. You guys are kind of like an L shape in this pit of sand.
What did you see? What did you see?
You cast.
Something depressed in the sand. There's something in here.
Should we throw sand at it?
Best we got.
The good old pocket sand strategy.
Yeah, but
Pocket
I was
sand.
going to just scoop up a lot of it for the future, but if I could use it now, I'll use it now.
Kind of like slowly bend down and grab a handful.
Okay. You slowly bend down. You watch Shae's hand sinks beneath the individual grains and then lifts them away, parts just falling between your fingers. But you have a handful of sand.
And I'm going to
Wait,
just
wait,
for
wait,
the
wait.
sake of it, cast detect magic eyes and scan the room just in case.
Okay. So you use the Eldritch Invocation. You can see, or for those of you looking at Heinrich, you see the one black eye have this glyph appear. As you look, you don't see anything magical.
I'm gonna be like, wait, Shae, where did you see it?
Like more with my eyes and body motion than actually say anything.
She's like holding the sand.
I'm gonna like point in the direction, be like, over there.
If it's
You guys do this for a little bit until Gunter gets to where, and then you kind of nod.
And be like, are we doing this? I got my finger gun ready. I'm waiting on your orders.
Which direction is the wind blowing in the room?
The wind is blowing from the north, from this dark hallway that seems to be magically dark. you can see a line, almost razor straight, where the stone just seems to disappear into nothing.
Okay. And aware of this thing, have I seen it move again, or is it just staying where it was?
Make a perception check. You don't know that it's a thing. You know,
I
it could
don't
have
know
just
that's
been a
a
real
thing.
weird reflection.
Some sort of invisible stalking thing.
Swamp gas.
I'm
24.
sitting right here, Guntir.
24. With the 24, you look, you kind of wait. You can see Guntir holding up his hand, and he looks over at Heinrich, and he's like, "Are we doing this?" And in this brief moment, you can see like Guntir's looking away, directly in front of where this little finger gun is. You see elements of sand. It seem to rest as if 4 or 5 grains just hovering in the air before they seem to crumble and scatter away.
I want to try to cast the sand in a way that it is caught by the wind and lands on this whatever it is. If that makes sense. Rather than like just straight throwing it, just kind of like cast it out so it
As soon
flies
as
at it.
Shae gives the signal, which I will take as her doing anything, basically,
Okay.
Her
I'm
existing.
gonna try to fire at this thing with a guiding bolt.
Okay. So, you, Shae, slowly, you see Gunter's finger kind of pointed. You wait until it rests roughly in the direction that you were looking to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of hold for just a moment. You look and you see those bits of sand kind of crumble and then come to a stop, like, and then disappear. And you take the handful of sand, you lower it, and you cast it like a long stretch of line, as if you were trying to evenly distribute it across a wide surface. And as you do, Gunter, your little finger gun in front of you, the sand brushes, and for a second, it forms a head about 2 feet long and stretched back. You can see it seems to almost hook back. Think like the alien. Very much kind of back, and you see teeth and then 2 tongues, one twisted down and one out, before the sand kind of crumbles away. But I need everybody to roll initiative.
Kill shot!
And we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I need everybody to go ahead and roll initiative. Let me go ahead and...
Ooh, that's like a good Gunter initiative. More than 10.
It's not great for them. All right. Anybody natural 20? 25 to 20. 20 to 15.
15.
19.
Okay.
Wait, did I beat Shae?
You did.
Mark it off on the tallies.
Get
So
that
it's
accomplishment yet?
Morwen, Heinrich, Gunter, Shae. Shae, you were 15?
Yep.
Okay, Morwen, Heinrich, Gunter, Shae. The way that this is going to happen, Gunter, you are getting a simultaneous surprise attack as this creature and the one that is directly behind Morwen. So all 3 of you are acting at the same time. So go ahead, roll your it's an attack roll, right, for guiding bolt?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your attack roll.
That's 19 plus something.
19 plus something hits.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. And I haven't done guiding bolt in a while. So...
Guiding bolt's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
What do you mean you haven't done it in a while? You did it last session.
Well, yeah, but that was upcast.
True.
So,
That's brutal.
46 base.
it's like a lot of D6s. Okay, 4 D6s. Right. Nice. Oh, okay. So that's 15 plus 5, 20. 20 radiant damage.
Dang. All right.
And
So
it is now glittering on the target is a mystical dim light. For
okay. So
advantage on the next
as
one.
you like fire out, there is this radiant bolt that leaps from your finger gun and strikes. You watch as it's as if the single bolt erupts into a shower of sparks that spread across this creature's body. And I will describe it in just 1 second. At the same time as this is happening, it is reaching out to you, Guntir. And you see as this, all of a sudden, it looks like a huge, stocky tendril ignites in sparks and slams at you. It's going to make 2 slam attacks.
Nope.
First one is going to be a 22.
Yeah, that's gonna
Second
be it.
one is going to be a 24.
Oh, that one actually misses.
You got the high level ones?
Yeah.
12,
My
You're gonna
AC
take-
is actually
Inverse
anything
AC.
above 20.
12 points of bludgeoning damage from the first one. You see this ignited, sparkly tendril into your chest.
Oh,
The second
yeah.
one is going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage as it seems to almost go through you. The hit, it disperses. The sparks to the other side, the sparkle, and then it swipes back, hitting you in the back.
How much was the first hit?
The first one I want to say was
12.
it was either
12 and 11.
12 and 11 or 12 and 13. But yeah, say 12 and 11.
Okay.
These 2 hits slam into you again and again. Morwen, you feel this sudden presence of
Alexis.
wind. That is going to be a 13 to hit
Negative.
and a 18 to hit.
Positive.
You take 9 points of bludgeoning damage. You feel wind go by your shoulder, and then suddenly the air driven out of you as it hits you in the back. That is the surprise round. That brings us to initiative order. Morwen, you are up first. Heinrich, you are on deck. Guntir, you are after that.
All right, I'm attacking what just attacked me.
Okay, so interesting point of reference. You cannot see it. You have an idea as to where it is. So this is at a disadvantage.
Okay. It's not undead though, correct? I mean, it
This sword is not glowing.
yeah. Okay.
You can't get much worse than that.
What was
I
that?
mean, it's a critical fail.
Okay.
On the first of 2 rolls for disadvantage.
You swing. Oh, yeah, you really
Wait,
can't get
because I
worse than
don't.
that.
I don't add
You
the
don't-
attack. If it's
You
a
can.
fail.
It's a 1 though, so
It's a natural one, so
it's
automatically
considered- Yeah.
Still not good.
it's a miss.
I mean, it.
you thrust forward for the first
Automatic
time
miss.
Yeah.
with this new sword. You swing, and the balance is different than Puss. And as you pull towards this creature, you can't even see it catches. It's maybe like 4 inches longer than Puss is. It catches on the wall, and the impact of it out of your hand and lands 10 feet away from you. You have a second attack, however, you cannot make it with Puss. Right? So you
Oh yeah,
choose
no,
butts.
it's always
Butts.
with butts.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and make
form
that
of
attack if you
Moose
want.
butts. Now it's just butts.
Some form of butts is what I said. Okay.
Great.
So, anywho, this is okay. Natural 20.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Okay.
I wish
and
this
this-
was reversed, but
Again, this is still at disadvantage.
oh right.
Not bad.
Oh, okay, that's a 22.
That hits. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead and roll damage on that. This is not one that is sparkling and glowing. This is just it feels like you're striking at wind, but as you bring butts through, it hits and catches and you feel something cut beneath it cleanly.
All right, so that's 5.
5. Okay. Great.
But as a bonus action, I'm gonna say loose, which automatically returns loose to my hand.
So, bonus action, you first do well, so that second offhand attack is not a bonus action, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So as you
Do you have extra attack as a feature now?
No. I've never had
but
extra.
it's because of swashbuckler.
We've done this like talk before, and I'm pretty sure I don't remember the mechanics, but I'm pretty positive that it's not.
It's not an extra attack. So okay, I don't think it is either because
If you attack action, you attack twice. I think.
okay, yeah, so no problem. As a bonus action, you hold out, and all of a sudden, in your hand, it sinks a couple of inches with the weight as the sword reappears, as if by magic. Actually, by magic. Yeah.
By literally magic.
Worth noting, when you swung and you cut through the air the first time with butts, you imagine you didn't do the damage that you could have done. It feels as if it didn't quite do what you wish. Anything else?
I'm going to kind of back up from this spot, like.
Okay. That is going to provoke an opportunity attack.
No, because fancy footwork.
Specifically because of this creature and its features, it's still provoking an opportunity attack. It is a faultless tracker, and that is going to be a 25 to hit.
Yeah, sure does.
You are going to take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. As you back away, you can feel it strike again. It hits you right in the back of the hip. You stagger forwards. That is Morwen's turn. Heinrich, you're up. Guntir, you're on deck.
Triangulating its position. Is that okay to take a shot? I know where it's kind of at.
Yeah, you can certainly try. I mean, so right now, for reference, in front of
disadvantage,
Guntir, you see the glowing outline all of a sudden as these sparks scatter. It is
2-on-1
this long...
versus 2-on-1.
Sure, go for it.
I know Shae's going to take care of that one, so I'm just turning around to help Morwen because there's an unexpected one right behind us. So I also will fire a guiding bolt at it.
Okay, yeah. So you turn and you can see, different than Guntir's guiding bolt, these glyphs appear. It's almost like a caster from Outlaw Star. These elements of energy drawn in and around.
That's not going to do it.
What was it?
Well, the first one was an 8, second one was a 9, so 8 plus 9.
Oh,
9,
wait a second.
17? Does that hit?
17 hits.
Oh, well, fucking okay. That's 8d6 plus my charisma. Holy shit.
Dang.
I have to upcast it.
Yeah, you have to. Warlocks.
Warlocks. Oops, sorry. Can't help. Ha! Whoa. Playing dice right now. Wait. 6. $32.
32. Nice. Okay. So, Morwen, you can feel the little slash, like, sink, do a tiny bit of damage to it, and all of a sudden, from Heinrich's outstretched hand, there is this burst of teal, radiant energy that leaps out and strikes it. You can see it explodes into thousands of small celestial glyphs which coat the creature. You can see now long, oblong head, teeth that seem to be almost flexible, like tentacles themselves. And you can see out of it, there are 3 or 4 of these long, tentacle-like tendrils that have been attacking you guys. You can now see its form.
I'm backing up too.
Okay, you back
To
up.
like a safe middle of the room kind of thing, maybe against the wall actually.
Sure. It's already used. Oh, you know what? I didn't even send you guys a map, did I?
I have a decent picture in my mind.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a complex room in that it the interior walls make it a little bit confusing. But looking at this map, if somebody could post it in Twitch, you guys are in the sand pit in the middle, which looks like sand. The walls that are they're 5 foot thick walls, but you can see there's holes bored through from that little 5 foot hallway on the outside. You can still make line of sight through to the sand.
Okay.
You
So
guys
we are-
approached from the south, and you guys are now all roughly in that middle section, kind of lumped
Okay.
together.
I'll start backing out to the left exit of the sand, I suppose.
Okay, so you back out, you sort of slide past Guntir, and the first one are like the bottom leftish part of the sand pit. So you sort of get right next to Guntir. You can see this glowing creature in front of him.
Okay. I think I get it. Alright. That's
Very
where
well. Guntir, it is your turn. Shae, you're on deck.
All right. So
Guntir, you
there's
can now see
one-
both. One is glowing with this almost like blue sort of electrical sparks that have scattered across and frozen. And then you can see Heinrich's, these small glyphs almost seem to wink and come in and out of existence around that creature.
And they're both within like 5 to 10 feet of me, based on.
One is within
there's the
5
one,
feet.
right in
One is
front of
within.
me, right?
Yeah, that one's right in front of you, and then there's one 15 feet away.
Okay, the other one's 15 feet. Okay, I suppose I'm gonna give him another, like, under the chin, fire a guiding bolt right back up at it.
Okay, go ahead and roll that attack.
Now, is
And
this
I'm
with
wondering-
advantage or is it negated?
It is
Because
at
it wasn't
advantage because I guess it's negated.
No, it's so because of the text of guiding bolt. Your next attack is at advantage. It is an invisible creature, but it's not that you're rolling at disadvantage.
Gotcha. Okay.
I see. So now it's visible, so now it's advantage.
So
Correct. It
that
doesn't get
is...
the benefits of being invisible.
Ooh, okay, it's another 19 plus. So that's
Yes,
gonna
that
be a
hits.
hit. And I was... Do I have to declare if I'm going to upcast it before I cast it? 'Cause I was
Typically,
planning on-
yeah, because you're burning a
Okay.
thing, but
Because I was going to upcast it just at one level up.
that's
to get
fine.
an
Yeah,
extra-
just in the future.
Yeah. Alright, so that's going to be... 22 points of radiant damage.
All right.
And it's glowy again.
So all of a sudden, this bolt strikes into it. You can see the original sparks scatter and go dead in the air as new ones emerge around it. You can see it stumbles back a little bit. That hurt it pretty good.
And then I think that's it for now because I can't cast something else. So
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Shae, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna hit the one that Guntir just lit up.
Sure. You
With
turn and
just my
see it
fist.
coated in sparks.
How's a dirty 20?
Dirty 20 hits.
And he can make a Constitution save.
that's also an advantage. Just
Oh,
so
look.
you know.
Constitution save.
That's higher, 18 plus.
Still, it's not a natural.
And you said con save?
Yes.
That is a 9.
He is now stunned.
Fair enough. So the one that Guntir is fighting, you see the blue coat around it. The sparks seem to freeze into the air, and you strike it. You do not know this creature. You don't know the anatomy of it, but something about the way that it moves. You see the tendrils writhe, and you strike a spot between. What's the damage on that?
It's 11.
11. Okay.
And he's
Crack! You strike into it. You feel something rubbery seem to almost ripple away from your fist. You'd imagine where your attack's not considered magical, you would not be doing the amount of damage you want.
second hit is another 18 plus.
Another 18, yeah, that hits.
That's 9 damage.
You hit it again, and at this point, you can actually see, and the sparks are like fading away from it because it's not an advantage anymore. But even as the sparks fade away, you can see elements where reality seems to kind of be flickering and shifting. This thing is starting to get pretty hurt.
Third hit is 21
21 hits.
for 11.
11. That is... So, you're just striking at air now. You don't see sparks. There's nothing even outlining it. But as you hit, you kind of sense in the sand in front of you, these footsteps appear and you follow. Great work. Anything else?
And then I'm going to enact patient defense.
Okay. Easy enough. You settle into a stance. Guntir, for just a brief moment, it pulls you back to getting beat up by all of those Aarakocra. You saw 2 monks take a very similar stance. But that is Shae's turn. That brings us to their turn.
Reaction flinch.
Shae, the one that you just hit is going to attack you.
Okay, that's disadvantage on attack rolls.
And is it... It's well. Wait, no. Because this one's the ones that's stunned, right?
Yeah.
So
It
this
is.
one cannot attack.
Yep.
However, the one that is closest to Heinrich. Let me see this map here real quick.
So I had backed away past the one that they were cornering to the left door.
It's still glowing, correct?
Yeah.
So you see the runes shift and move, and you can see the sand impact where it moves across to you, Shae. And it is going to attack twice.
It's disadvantage on attack rolls.
Yep, although it doesn't matter. That's going to be a 21 to hit.
Just barely.
Bam.
That is going to be not bad. 15 points of bludgeoning damage from the first one. And the second, also at disadvantage, much worse. That is going to be a 8 to hit. So the first one hits. Even with patient defense, it's not so much that it manages to elude your guard. You can't even really see it coming. You see electricity and sparks. You have a rough idea as to where it is, but hard to predict the 6 or so tendrils that emit from its body in random places. But as it hits the first time, you're able to get a sense for where it is. The second tendril comes around. You feel it more than you see it, and it misses. On the end of its turn, the other one's going to make, what is it? It gets a con save, right?
I believe so.
Or no, it's just stunned.
No,
it's stunned,
it's stunned until the
next
end
turn.
of my next turn.
Fair enough. That is their turn. That brings us to you, Morwen. Heinrich, you're on deck.
Going after the one that's closest to me, which is, I'm assuming, the one that hit me in the first place.
Yep, it's the one that you saw. It kind of rotated around you.
Hmm?
It rotated around you, and you saw it strike Shae. So it is now standing between you and Shae.
Well, I'm gonna loose it.
Loosen it
You have
up.
advantage on this attack.
All right. That is a 13. No, wait. Sorry, that's a 15.
You swing forwards, and just barely you hit it.
Oh. Okay. That was a roller coaster.
Thank
Okay.
goodness for that.
You would have missed it in the first one.
All right. So that is. Sorry. That is 35.
35. All right. So this one, the one that was originally significantly less hurt than the other one, is rapidly gaining. As you strike forward, loose in your hand seems to almost turn and go true, and through the sparks, you can see they almost seem to shatter off as this blow strikes something hard. These creatures almost silent, but you can hear it sounds almost like a tea kettle out the side in the middle. That's a good hit.
Yay.
Do it again.
Can
else?
I butts it?
You certainly can.
I'm a butts it.
Go for it.
Where'd my dice go?
Yeah, what?
Well,
How did you do that magic trick?
god damn. Alright, so that's, it's even less. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
six.
as you swing and you hear that sound, it seems to almost repel itself away from you. That misses. Anything else?
Nah. I'm just gonna say, you suck.
Heinrich, you hear Morwen mutter under her breath that this creature sucks as she fights it. You see the magic around it dissipate. What do you want to do? It is your turn, Guntir. You're on deck.
Seeing how Shae and Guntir handily taking care of this one, I'm just gonna Ooh. So the one that Shae stunned is right in front of them, both, right?
The one that Shae stunned is right between you and Guntir.
Okay.
And
Within 5 feet of any of them?
within 5 feet of any of who? I'm sorry. Are
Shae
you?
and Guntir?
No,
They're
no.
invisible.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, but
One is 5 feet between. So there's one 5 feet away from Guntir and one 5 feet away from Shae. They're roughly 10 feet away from each other.
okay. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna do this anyways. 2 at the one that Morwen is fighting, and 1 at the stunned one.
Okay.
Does the stunned one negate because it's advantage because it's stunned and that's invisible, or is it still just disadvantage because it's invisible?
I'm going to say that because you don't necessarily know that it is stunned, it is
Sure.
still at disadvantage.
There, that works. Okay. All right, so let's do the first bolt at that one because I'm only using 1 at it.
Sure.
Okay. Nice. It's over. It's 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
one. So that one takes 5 plus. So that's 10 points of force damage and is not gonna push it away actually, because then they won't know where it is. I was thinking like advantage or not advantage, the free attack, but fuck that. So keeping it still. 10 on that one. And then the other 2 at the one that Morwen was fighting. This is probably gonna miss. Fuck. Here goes the natural 20. 16.
16 hits.
Okay, for 6 damage. And then the last at the same one. Please. Yeah. Same. 20 plus.
Yep, that hits.
For 14 damage. And I'm not pushing them away because I think knowing where they are is more important.
So all of a sudden now, these big bursts of light, almost like gunshots, as Eldritch Blast ricochets around the room. You watch as 2 of the bolts seem to strike the air and fizzle out, but you hear sizzling and the sound of something impacting heavily underneath. You got both of these things pretty hurt, but the second one that you hit hurt real bad. You're now seeing areas in the air where bits of sand gather, and then all of a sudden you see this mottled gray, warty skin just appear and then disappear. But anything else?
I'm gonna just keep pacing around the room to the northern exit of the sand chamber.
Okay.
Just like doing a slow circle as I'm continuing to fire, basically.
Okay, I got you. No problem. You circle around and end up on the other side of that creature. Guntir, it is your turn. What do you want to do? Shae, you're up next.
I'm gonna use a guiding bolt to shoot at one,
Okay.
and then I'm going to action surge and shoot a guiding bolt at the other one.
Okay. Give me
Town
one
ain't
sec.
big enough for the 3 of
I have
us.
to
I'm
look
wondering,
this up.
can you do that with spells and action surge?
Just a second.
It would be
That's a
awesome,
really
but
good
holy
question.
right?
Honestly, I don't know. Give me just 1 second.
I'm
That's a
pretty
super
sure
weird-
you can because it's just you get another action.
Right, but casting spells is a weird thing about how many spells you cast.
I think if
in
I
turn
had used a
period.
bonus action
So
spell,
you can
Oh.
use a cantrip if you use action surge.
Ah.
Yes.
okay, then I guess I'll boom cantrip Toll the Dead.
Okay. Sure.
Who are you booming?
I'm gonna boom the one that's closer to me with Toll the Dead because I'm more certain of where it is. I'm going to guiding bolt the one that's further away.
Okay. So do the guiding bolt first.
Okay. That is a 15.
15 just hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Nice. Alright. Ooh. Oh, very good. That is 24.
24. Sure. So, as you hold your hand out and this bolt erupts, you can see it streaks past where Heinrich just dumped a whole bunch of damage through Eldritch Blast. You can see the mottling flesh, gray, warty, and you aim for that spot. Your guiding bolt streaks forwards, and you can see it hits. The sparks rip through. They don't ripple across. You can see it seem to streak through elements of the skin and flesh. The smell of burning meat, but slightly off and sulfurous. And all of a sudden, for just a moment, you see this entire creature, 10 feet wide, 10 feet long. This large blob of warts, gray skin, and tendrils, and then disappears. You see the sand all at the base of it. This whirlwind, and it is dead. Well done. Now, Toll the Dead.
I'm gonna turn my gaze towards and just.
Sure. As you mean mug it, suddenly in the space above it, this bell appears. Go ahead. And that's what, a saving throw?
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw for this guy is going to be 14.
That is a miss.
Okay, roll damage.
All right, that's 3d12. My old.
Yeah, Toll the
that
Dead is such a great, it's such a good scale.
Yeah, I rarely use the d12 too, so it's nice. Fresh use of the die. Ooh! Very fresh use of the die here, folks. That is 3 damage.
Guntir, tell us how it happens.
It just like it no longer exists. I look in its direction and it's already invisible, so it just poof. There's like a light breeze and it's gone.
Sure. So Guntir, you and all of a sudden, for the rest of you, in the midst of the swirling melee,
It's like a pong and
you hear and you see this bell, the spectral bell, appear, and suddenly, boom! It rings. You can see a crack appear down the middle of it, and you see all of the sand on the ground up for just a moment before settling. You hear little bits of pebbles raining down on the stone around you, but then you listen, you wait. Nothing else hits you. And for the moment, you are out of combat.
Yay!
did we win?
Well, that was weird.
I was talking about. And Gamble.
I'm gonna try to
I should
feel
probably save
around
some
for a
sand.
body where it just died.
As you guys talk, Guntir just drops down and begins feeling around.
Leftover.
Nobody left over?
No. Yeah. Nobody. Nobody.
Right. And into like, empty files from potions and bags and stuff, and be like,
Sure. Given the
Just
the
like-
typical finger gang hoarding behavior, you take out bags and pouches and jars, and you have like a urine specimen cup for some reason. It's everything that you have, and you begin to fill it with sand.
Cool.
I lean over to help Heinrich and just empty out like a jacket pocket, just like, here you go.
Just sand.
You need more?
No, there's plenty on the ground, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I would have helped add some too, but they stole all of it.
It's fine. We just need some to get a sense on where they are. This technique seemed to work pretty well, Shae. Your
They took all my sand.
eyes is kind of good on
All
this.
right here.
It's not my sand.
And Shae, as you direct your keen eyes in the direction of this wind, you can see this hallway again that just seems to end.
Have I seen magical darkness before?
You have. You've seen it a couple of times, yeah. Interesting that point, though. Make a perception check, because you have seen magical darkness before.
It's 28.
You get a little closer, and at first, you kind of walk pretty confidently because it's just, magical darkness in the hallway in front of you. But as you get a little closer to within 15 feet, you have to stop because there's this sudden kind of vertigo that takes you. You can see the edges of the stone at your feet, where this floor ends. And an impossibly cavernous space stretches in front of you. You see nothing.
I'm gonna go throw sand in it.
You watch Heinrich comes up next to you. You hear chink, chink, chink from the scales of his armor, and the sand into the air and then slowly falls and settles and disappears.
Doesn't land on anything.
You kind of look down. It's black. You have no idea.
But
This
it
looks
was
fun, so
it
I
was
throw
visible to
sand
see
too.
the sand when I threw it in, correct?
Yeah, you saw it and then it just fell.
Okay.
This looks fun, so I'm just gonna like windmill some sand over there.
And as the last bits of sand and fall, all of a sudden, sand all of a sudden from both sides of you just flying out over the edge.
Just look at Shae. I don't think this works.
No.
Oh, I thought we were just having some fun.
Oh. I was just testing things.
Well, I'm having fun. I continue to be.
As helpful as
I'm
this
gonna
is,
pick up a
Morwen.
handful and be like, oh, it is kind of fun.
Yeah, it disappears over the edge.
This hall.
I had no idea.
Not you.
Oh. Well, why'd you ask then?
I asked Shae.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
Is this something that you knew to exist within these halls? Is this one of the tests for the masters? Or is this something that they put here?
I don't know specifically. I have never taken this path.
No rumors? Nothing? Story?
Normally very open, very avoidant of this topic. You'd remember Crick especially, who spoke to you about a lot of things and was probably more open than Era wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Very pointedly avoiding this topic.
It's hard to say. From what Gamble said outside, there are places within here that are meant to disorient, so it could very well be part of the structure, or it could be an anomaly created when the ninth path broke in.
Was it some kind of magic trap or something?
I don't know.
Think of it
I didn't see any magic.
more as a test. If it's intentionally here, it's designed to... This particular course through this hall is designed for masters, specifically.
Alright, well, I think we've all mastered something in our own particular way, and the only way through is through.
I'm gonna go check out the other hallway while they're
Okay.
talking.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh,
No, go ahead. I
Um,
have to look up my notes anyways.
are these like walls climbable? What are they?
You kind of walk up to the edge of it. You look and you can see for about 20 feet on either side the stone wall. Looks climbable. You know, it is natural stone that's been very cleanly fashioned, and then all of a sudden it just seems to vanish.
I climb one.
Make an acrobatics check. Actually, no, you have a climb speed, right? You have 15 climb speed. So Morwen just climbs
Something like that. Yeah.
hand over hand. Your nails come out and help you gain purchase. You carefully climb 5 feet off of the edge and onto the wall. You cling to it. You feel wind over you. It is coming intensely from somewhere beyond. Somewhere beyond and up, actually. But you look down, you look up. It is dark.
Spooky.
You see anything?
Down. Nah,
Okay.
it's just It's just
climb over.
really dark. Wind seems to be coming from over there and up there.
I'm gonna try to light a torch and throw it into the darkness.
All of a sudden, behind you, Shae and Heinrich on either side, on opposite sides. From in between you, you hear this, and light sort of dances across the chamber. And Guntir, you take this torch and you
Huck it.
watch. There are no shadows cast by this. It goes into the dark, falls, and disappears.
Yeah, that seems like some sort of magic. No, I'm no expert, but
Guntir, make a history check, or you know what? Make an Arcana check. Call it.
Not terrible. That is a 16.
There is something, Guntir, about this place that is to you reminiscent of somewhere you've been. Somewhere not terribly in your life history, far away. Perhaps within the past year, but hard to tell what it's reminding you of.
this is familiar.
What's down the other hall?
So Heinrich, as you progress and they talk and you go and take the other direction, you can see over here the stairs seem to climb like 5 feet, just a short staircase. And on that staircase there is a little bit of a carpeted, like a runner, faded navy with these little cream tassels around the edge, and it seems to lead up and then down a path to the right. You see the first stair in another short set of staircases that disappears out of your sight.
So like that's if I poke my head around the corner, I can see it go up and around again.
So if you go to the corner, you poke your head out the antlers through, you can see it leads straight up another little staircase. There's a small landing. At one point there was a thin table that rested along the wall that held a frame that you could see had pressed mountain flowers in it. The frame is smashed, the petals torn, scattered across the remains of a dead elf. You can see there is the purple and black colors of the Ninth Path. She has a shawl that has been partially torn and is kind of thrown away. You see past her a curtain of beautiful glass beads. They lead into a hallway, but this, and you can see elements of it through the glass. There's like a magical lantern above, or you would assume it's magic because it is a very steady light. It catches each bead like a star in the sky, which makes the hallway impossible to see through. But beyond, you sense another room.
Shae, come look at this.
Go look.
Okay.
I'll walk into the room, assuming that Shae's following me.
Okay, you walk in towards the body. And Shae, as you walk in, you see this colored carpet, this very soft powdered blue. And to you, you know that this is one of the areas that crosses over to the track, or sorry, it doesn't cross over, would be a, would lead to something of a, not a puzzle, it would be called, it's called a consideration, but what it is basically a way to change the way that you think about things. Mm-hmm. It is and that could take many different forms.
Sure.
But following past it, you see this path of glass beads. You've never been here before.
Yeah. Keep following.
My intention's on the elf.
Okay. What do you want to know about the elf?
Investigate cause of death and anything telling about who they were and all that stuff on their person.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Rolling like shit. Except for fighting. Fucking 8.
8. Interestingly, on this monk, you do find 2 pieces of copper.
Great. That's
you
weird.
find, yeah, actually.
I look at Shae and I'm like, what is this? That's
you
weird.
also see on
That's
the
weird.
shawl, There is like it's a nice shawl. It's like this black, almost like lace, but very 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 fine workmanship. And you can see there's actually like zinni like worked into it that rearranges itself, given your warlock feature, Heinrich. And you can see it reads in Zinyi, to obtain your purest soul, no other has the right to take away your pursuit.
Show that to Shae as well.
Shae, it's a weird thing because in ways it reminds you of the rights that you know. But this is not one of them. What are you guys doing?
Looks like a niner to me.
Most definitely.
Is there anything else in this room? Before checking beyond the curtain?
Especially with that investigation check, nope.
Sick. Nice room. Want to keep moving?
Into the darkness we go.
You see the shining, brilliant bead of curtain of lit glass beads that shine like stars into the darkness.
Guntir standing over the dark.
Oh well, I'm still over in the dark room.
All right. So Guntir, you just stepping off the edge?
No, I think like I'm kind of like peering over, knowing that I'm not going to see anything. Then
And your eyes confirm what you know.
Then sort of like feeling for an edge to see if there's like something I have to climb down.
So you kind of dip your foot down, and it's like like a toddler trying to get into the shallow end of a pool. You're like reaching your foot down to try to find something. Your foot doesn't touch anything. It's weird though. I will say, as you hold your foot out, and because you're being Guntir and dangling the whole thing over, you don't feel an abrupt sense of your weight shifting. You feel less off balance than you should holding an entire leg over the space.
All right, I'm gonna like get to the edge, go down on my belly, and do the sort of like push off so that I'm kind of like hanging off the ledge and like ready to lower myself down.
Okay. Are you putting your feet over first or your torso?
Yeah, I'm going like feet first, sort of like laying on my belly.
Showing you up.
Kind of.
I don't want to do that.
Like, like
make an athletics check.
And then sort of like, I'm not letting go, but I'm like lowering myself into the position.
So you're trying to get into the position of when you're on the edge of a pool and you're like just kind of up above.
Yeah,
okay, sure.
But I'm like going feet first, sort of slowly, like I'm going off a cliff and then doing that thing where like Instagrammers will take pictures where they're hanging off the side of stupid.
I hate that I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, same. I was also gonna say though, like people die doing that, so I'm not sure.
That's why I said stupid things. That was an athletics check.
Yeah.
18.
You cling on, your little dwarven hands finding crevices and areas in the floor to hold tight to. You lower your feet, and as you lower them, they do lower. They go into this darkness. You can still see them. But again, either you've gotten a lot stronger or your body just doesn't have the weight to it that you would expect.
Alright, I'm gonna like try to slowly climb down this wall as if I'm like lowering myself into presumably a pit.
Make an acrobatics check.
Does any of us have sights on this?
Yeah, you can see this. You're standing like 10 feet away. You're just watching Guntir slowly make his way down.
Can you not?
What do you mean? We gotta get through.
I don't know if this is the way, and like if it is, can you?
This is the shingling path, right?
If you fall, I can't really bring you back. Can we wait for the? Hey, Heinrich, Shae, can you help? Guntir's doing.
I'll throw a rope down first.
Guys, Guntir's
I don't have a rope because they stole all my stuff.
Guntir, make an acrobatics check at disadvantage now because you were having a conversation during it.
Well, I'm still shouting at Shae and Heinrich to help.
2.
You see, as you're talking, Gunter's like, I'll just throw a rope down, and he lets go. Gunter, you drift 5 feet away from the wall and float.
I'm used to falling, so I'm like,
Wait, you fall or you drift?
It
floating.
floats.
oh.
Guys, you really have to come here.
Gunter, what are you, so you're just going like this?
Swim myself back up to the top as if I'm like, you know, like
Gunter, as you
cartoon, like
think,
fell off a cliff. I'm like,
unclear if it's the motion or the thought, but as you look up and consider moving upwards, you begin to drift up. What is your intelligence modifier?
+2.
You have a speed of 10 feet within this space. And you realize as you think about this, your thoughts are what move you here.
Oh.
How are you doing that?
I'm just thinking about going forward.
Gunter just drifts forward as he says that.
Oh man, I really want to get in on this. Are you guys over there yet?
No.
Jump on in. The darkness is fine.
I think I'm gonna. This looks fun.
I'm getting like Willy Wonka in the bubble room vibe from this.
Is there so there's like one of the walls, right, with like the holes. Is it near an edge so I could tie a rope like through the hole and around the edge of the wall?
The nearest one of those holes is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet. So yeah, with 25 feet of rope, that would get you from those holes to the edge.
Well, honey, I've got 90, so I'm
There you go,
doing
no
it.
problem.
I'm tying a little knot and I'm making myself a little.
Okay. It harkens back to the room that you guys were in within Captain's Keep, the air room that you guys floated around.
Oh, I know.
But you
was
tie
fun.
yourself in a similar way, and are you stepping off?
I'm gonna approach it similarly to how Gunter did it.
So similarly, and it's weird, you put your feet over and they go down. It feels strange, especially for you, a tabaxi, very well balanced. You feel all off and lighter than you should be.
Yeah, I've got a lot of kicky feet going on.
Yeah, just kicking, but you're still there.
All right.
Once Morwen's up in the air, I'm gonna start like doggy paddling away, like towards the other side of what would be the other side of the room, I guess.
Okay, so you, Morwen, as you're like hanging on to the edge, you turn and you can see Gunter, his butt just kind of like arched up in the air and his two hands like doggy paddling. He's just steadily drifting.
Come on!
All right, I'm gonna think like float up.
Morwen, what is your intelligence modifier?
I'm
One.
just picturing it like when you think of
Slowly,
a cat.
Morwen begins drifting up. Your movement speed is 5 feet.
They've like got their arms out like this, and they're just being held under their front arms.
Yeah, Morwen,
exactly the-
your back is arched like a cat's too, and you're just kind of like awkwardly at an angle now,
I am
beginning to like
liquid.
curve and turn.
Yeah, and I've just got the kicky feet going on like.
The tail is just all over the place. Yeah, for sure.
This is fun. I'm
And
enjoying
Gunter's
it.
just doggy paddle.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
And
float around.
okay, yeah, you float around a little bit. You watch as Gunter kind of gets grayer and darker, and then just disappears into the gloom.
Oh.
Heinrich
Ow.
and Shae, what are you guys doing while this is happening?
I want to go through this bead curtain.
Okay. You part it with a big motion just to get your antlers through it, that tangling through the beads themselves as you travel. It's very nice sounding. It's only a 10-foot long hallway. You emerge out through these beads. You can see there is a 15 by 10-foot room. Just single ancient wooden podium in the center. You can see on the edges of the wood this carved complex scroll work. It's beautiful. On this wooden podium you see a single, what looks like a metal button in the very, very center. You can see beyond maybe 5 feet in front of this button there's a doorway. Just a single, what looks like a stone door. You don't see a handle or a knob or anything like that.
Okay, detect magic on.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting for you to say on the stone.
No, just detect magic on and
The glyph in your eye into being, and you look. You don't